Here to deliver the most famous words in motorsports for the 58th running of the Daytona 500, please welcome your Grand Marshal, star of the upcoming action thriller London Has Fallen, opening March 4th, Gerard Butler.
Hey everybody! It's an honor to be here. And just before the big line, I would love it if you want to join me in a This Is Daytona. You ready? This is Daytona! And now I really need your help. And the big line. Drivers, start your engines!
And Gerard starring in the new movie London Has Fallen, but Daytona is rising, and we're all excited about that and anxious to get going. So let's head back upstairs. Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, and Mike Joy. Guys?
Anxious. Darrell's been jumping around here like spit on a griddle. These are two of the 36 drivers that have won the Daytona 500 in its 57-year history, and you're as excited as I've ever seen you.
I don't know what it is. I think it's the new venue, the stadium. I think the fans they're generating so much excitement and so much energy. You saw it in that command to start the engines. You see it in the drivers. Junior said he got up this morning, couldn't wait to get in the car and go race. That's what I'm feeling, just an anticipation and the excitement of starting this race.
But he wanted to get in the car, which is his fortress of solitude. Nerves, butterflies before the race. What's the difference behind the wheel than behind the microphone?
Well, there were definitely anxious butterflies when I woke up this morning, too, but nothing like what these drivers are going through. I'll admit, it's a little bit bittersweet. There's a little bit of emotion there that I'm not in that car competing for that Harley J. Earl Trophy. It's such an amazing event to be a part of, but I'm very much looking forward to being a part of it from up here as well.
All right, we're getting ever closer to the start of the Daytona 500 and the chance to win the Harley Earl Trophy. Aloe Black sends us to break performing Let the Games Begin. Fox NASCAR welcomes you to the 58th annual running of the great American race, the Daytona 500. The U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds complete their demonstration flyovers. And soon on track, 40 speedsters will be hurtling around there in a tight formation at 190 miles per hour. Crew Chief Rodney Childers getting into position as the second pace car and first one lead the field off, formed single file along pit road, so fans in the stands could all get their shots of their heroes. And the youngest pole sitter ever, Chase Elliott, in that number 24. Doing a drive-by with his pit crew. He will lead them to green. Here is the Geico starting grid for the 500. Chase Elliott taking over the iconic number 24, and Matt Kenseth won the race in a backup car in 2009 from the rear. He'll have to try to do the same today. And in row number 2 come the winners of the Geico Can-Am dual races, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in a Chevrolet and Kyle Busch in a Toyota.
Got Joey Logano there starting in the 5th position. He starts 5th, and he's won from that position last year. Then you got Jamie McMurray, who won this race in 2010. Two good ones right there. You got Ryan Blaney, and this is his second Daytona 500 start. That 21 car's won with a rookie before. Can they do it again today? And Kurt Busch, best finish in the 500, second. And three times.
And in row 5, 2007 Daytona 500 champion. He's been quiet this week, but starting 9th, Kevin Harvick. And in the 10th position, Carl Edwards, looking for that first Daytona 500 win. In row 6, starting 11th, Denny Hamlin. Boy, has he been strong this week. Won the Unlimited. Looking for big things out of him. And starting next to him in 12th, Ty Dillon.
Paris Chevrolets. In row number 7, Casey Kane has finished 7th in this race twice. Kyle Larson did not finish. Crashed out of both of the last two 500s. Greg Biffle third in the 500, top 10s the last 4 Daytona 500s, and Danica Patrick finished 8th here in 2013.
Chris Buescher, he'll start 17th. This is his first Daytona 500 start, the Xfinity champion from last year. And then Brian Vickers filling in for the injured Tony Stewart. Got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He starts 19th. He finished 7th in the 14th in 2014. And then Matt DiBenedetto, he's starting his first career Daytona 500.
And in row 11, driving the famous number 3, we saw a horrific crash that he went through last year at Daytona. Austin Dillon starting 21st, and then 22nd, Michael Annett, who finished his best 2015 finish was here in 13th.
Trevor Bayne, a winner, and Landon Castle. They're there in the 12th row, and you got 7 championships in row 13.
Oh, row 13 is a great row. Brad Keselowski, our 2012 champion. He hadn't won the 500 yet, but he wants to badly. Jimmy Johnson, he's got to go to the rear in that backup car, but he's a 2-time champion this race.
Regan Smith, top 10 in 3 of the last 4 plate races. Martin Truex goes to the rear in a backup car, as will A.J. Allmendinger in the next row.
And I like David Reagan in that 23 car. He's my long shot today, I got to tell you. And I know he hadn't done. I know he's won here before, and then A.J. Allmendinger.
And I like row 16. Casey Mears and Clint Boyer. Both of these guys are going to the front.
Bobby Labonte making his 24th consecutive Daytona 500 start, the 2000 champion. Eric Almirola won here in July of 2014.
Brian Scott in that 44 car for Richard Petty Motorsports. He's got to go to the rear. But listen, 2001, I stood up here and called my brother home to the Daytona 500. What a thrill it'd be to do it again.
Paul Menard is a guy that has really showed a lot of strength this week in the draft. And then you got Ryan Newman right next to him here in row 19. I also think we're going to see some great things out of these guys.
Michael McDowell, 7th at Daytona, July of 2014. And Robert Richardson Jr. was out haying on his spread in Texas when he got the call to come here and run at Daytona. That is your start.
Hey, pal, yeah, it's been a lot of fun this week. Just very thankful for the opportunities through Mr. Hendrick and Napa Auto Parts and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports and yesterday JRM. So it's been fun, but today's the most important day. You know that, and it's a long race. So let's get started.
Well, you got the best in the business right behind you and your teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. Tell us what you're going to have to do as a rookie, not having all the experience of some of these veterans out there, to get this Daytona 500 victory today.
In order to have a shot, you got to make it to the end. So I think that's our first goal. Try to be smart and you know, put yourself in what you feel like is the right position. So just try to make it to the end of this thing. 500 miles is a long time, and hopefully if we can make it there, we can give ourselves a chance.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Have a great race. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Today's aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. They're on the pace laps. Let's go to pit road, beginning with Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, Joey Logano won the biggest race of his career right here at the Daytona 500 1 year ago. But he told me he's more confident, more prepared than ever. And because he tasted victory, he's hungrier than ever. He's raced here 3 times in Speed Weeks and finished second all 3 times. He's ready to up it 1 position. Matt Yoakum?
After reflecting on his championship season, Kyle Busch, like any true racer, reassessed his goals. What's missing the cornerstone of Daytona 500 win? He told me his car this Speed Week has much more speed than in years past. Also, the weather could play into his favor. It's hot and slick. It could be an epic day for KB. Vince.
Brian Vickers wasn't expecting to be in this race, but he got the call to fill in for Tony Stewart, which is an interesting twist because Vickers himself has overcome a very serious medical condition. Today is an opportunity he thought he might never get, and he might never get again. It's Stewart's car and it's Stewart's team, but this is a very special Daytona day for Brian Vickers. Chris Neville?
Well, Greg Biffle has had a couple challenging years. He hasn't seen victory lane since Michigan 2013, but lots of changes at Roush Fenway Racing over the offseason. Most importantly, he's got a new crew chief in Brian Patty. Greg Biffle very happy with his race car this year. He says this is his best chance in recent years. Larry McReynolds?
Yeah, let's take a look at the race analysis. We're going to go for 200 laps, 500 miles. Pit road speed will be 55 miles per hour, and the fuel window 42 to 46 laps. And Mike, you see the 5 drivers going to the rear with backup cars after crashing in the Can-Am duel.
Ready to race in Daytona. That's the 2016 Toyota Camry XSE leading the field, and it's driven by WWE superstar John Cena, who hosts American Grit. An intense new competition series that premieres April 14th, only on Fox. Lights are out atop the safety car. As it comes down the 1,600-foot short chute, it'll make the hard left onto pit road. And they will address themselves to the starting line. 40 of America's best drivers in the biggest race of the year.
You got that right, Mike. We're getting ready to start this 2016 season. I just feel it. It's going to be one of the best ever. What an exciting way to get the season started off. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
With outside pole sitter Matt Kenseth having to drop to the rear, Chase Elliott had a choice to make. Did he choose the outside lane with Kyle Busch behind him, or choose the inside with his teammate and wingman Dale Earnhardt Jr.? That was the choice. That's the way they come around to complete lap one.
Looked pretty obvious to me they had a plan, and boy, did that plan work out perfectly.
It made good sense, though, to have your teammate behind you, not beside you. So that was a good move, and they came across the line just like they wanted to.
I mean, Chase got a great start, but Junior got an even better start, pushing him right across the line and getting both those cars clear of the outside pole sitter of Kyle Busch.
I recall a rookie in 1993 who started on the pole and led the first lap.
Yeah, I had to do it from the second row, but he had some great help there. Boy, I'm so excited about this race. This is amazing. This is going to be an incredible day of racing. Already 3 wide, 2 and 3 rows back.
Now right behind the 2-liter single file. Kyle Busch on the outside, Toyota. Joey Logano inside in that yellow Ford. How do the 2 Chevys in front keep them at bay?
Staying hooked up like they are right there. That's one way. But, Mike, this is kind of like the opening play of the Super Bowl. You know, you don't want to fumble the ball. Don't mess it up, boy. This is your chance. Make it count.
Well, here's where it gets very interesting. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been the one out front in all the racing that we've seen this week. He's in second right now, and he's protecting. He's protecting Chase Elliott up there, and this is a 500-mile race, so I totally understand that. But how long is he willing to stay in that second position? Because we all know the leader has such great control when they're out front.
I think it probably, I think Junior's going to let him lead a couple of laps because he's a rookie and it's good for him, and he's got a lot of confidence from his win yesterday. But that 88 car is going to shoot to the lead pretty quick.
Further back, driver's a little impatient, like the number 4, that black and white Chevrolet of Kevin Harvick, trying to bust his way into the top 10.
Incredible decision to make early in the race. Do you go 3 wide? Yeah, you want to get up further to the front. The further back that you are, the dirtier the air is. The car's not going to drive as good back there. So do you take that risk? Well, Kevin Harvick chose to, and so did Kyle Larson here.
Yeah, I think right now your tires are brand new. You got a lot of grip, and you see here we got a challenge and a pass.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes to the front after 3 laps of the Daytona 500.
There you go, buddy. Great line right there. Bottom is does have a little bit better line. Does help.
You got to push from Joey Logano there. And here comes the inside lane.
You hear that noise? You can hear the fans over the engines when Dale Jr. takes the lead.
We heard it at driver introductions, and we heard it right then when he took the lead.
That is Earnhardt Nation. And now, right behind the 2 leaders, the 2 rookies are side by side. Chase Elliott in blue, and on the bottom in red and white, driving for the storied Wood brothers, Ryan Blaney.
Now, we saw Joey Logano behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the duel, working everything he possibly could to try to figure out how to get by Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is going to school right now, and I guarantee he's going to make Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s life really difficult right now.
Right now, Mike, you don't want to take any risk. I mean, it's so early in this race. It's a long way to go. Getting 3 wide and kind of nerfing off each other and cutting in front of each other, that's not good moves right now. Play it smart, boys.
4 laps complete, and you're riding with Kevin Harvick, who has worked his way up to 6th position. Jamie.
And he is being aggressive early. That's exactly what his crew chief Rodney Childers told me they would do this morning. He said, we have to get up front quick. If we get in the middle, we're going to drop back. It is way too risky to be in the middle this early in the race.
I agree with that, Jamie. I think you got to pick your fights right now, and this is not the time to pick one.
Here comes Denny Hamlin on the inside. He's got Kyle Busch behind him. Those are both Joe Gibbs Toyotas. So Busch giving Hamlin in the 11 a push.
When first I said Dale Earnhardt Jr. was behind Chase Elliott, then he had Denny Hamlin. Both of those guys so incredibly talented and experienced on these restrictor plate tracks. I knew he wasn't going to be there long. You saw he got a big push Chase up to the 22. The 22 had to sort of stall out, and 11 went right to the inside.
That 11 will have a say about who's going to win this race when it's over with. I guarantee you. Denny Hamlin is outstanding at Daytona on these restrictor plate tracks.
Let's check in on the drivers who had to go to the back because they were in backup cars. Trying to move up, Matt Kenseth, that yellow number 20 Toyota's gained 20 spots. Martin Truex Jr. and you're riding with Jimmy Johnson. His Chevrolet is up 18 from where he started.
I like what Junior said in the pre-race there about we've not all been out here together at one time. We've been in groups, we've drafted as teammates and whatnot, but now everybody's here and everybody has their game face on.
Look at this at the front. Why do we call Dale Earnhardt the Pied Piper at Daytona? Because both lanes are following him. He comes up, picks up Logano, he'll drop down, he'll pick up Denny Hamlin. They're all following Junior. Can anybody pass him?
I think he's got that in his headset. I think he's got that. He listens to that. Follow me, I'm the Pied Piper.
Well, I can promise you that's not what Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano are thinking. They're trying everything they can to back up, get a run on Dale Jr. and make this move. As we see Logano getting the biggest run that we've seen so far, but this is where Dale Earnhardt Jr. is so incredible. He knows how to work those lanes. He's got a great spotter, and TJ up in the on top of this booth that's talking him through all the different moves and the momentum that's coming from behind.
Let's go to the leader's pit. Vince Welch.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been fast throughout Speed Weeks. He's very comfortable and confident in this race car, which they've nicknamed Amelia. It ran all 4 of the plate races last year, named after Amelia Earhart for all her great accomplishments. And I asked crew chief Greg Ives why they named the car after a woman, and he said, because that's the way we treat it. With tender, loving care. So that's going to get you some positive tweets from the ladies on Twitter.
I like that. Yeah, that's great right there. You know, one thing Junior did say, being out front has its price to pay because you pick up a lot of debris. If there's any blowing around today, the leader's the first one to catch it.
Kurt Busch coming up the middle. Trying to gain some ground, 12th place right now, adjacent Matt Kenseth, who started this race from the rear.
We actually see in the back of that shot, we see Ryan Blaney got caught to the inside. That's one of the things you have to do, and it's tough as a rookie. Block that middle lane, because if you don't block that middle lane, they'll go up in the middle, and you'll go all the way to the back.
And Blaney's number 21 slides all the way back to 25th.
Well, you know, had problems here the other night. He had a loose wheel, made an unscheduled stop, got back on the lead lap and finished 3rd. So I think that kid's just being real conservative right now, just riding around, maybe just looking for an opportunity later on.
Teammates, Kevin Harvick in the 4, 41 Kurt Busch. Comes stomping up toward the front. Behind Toyota teammates, Denny Hamlin in the 11 and Kyle Busch in the 18. All right. So you got to the front. Now where do you go?
Well, you just keep trying to form that lane up behind you and hope that everybody's in line wanting to push and get the energy to shove that line forward.
10 laps complete in the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading. Don't go away. You won't miss a thing. Well, let's begin the hashtag 500. It's a Twitter competition. The 500 person to tweet using both hashtags on the screen will win that green flag waved by Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. and signed by all the drivers. Follow @NASCAR on Twitter for more opportunities to win Daytona 500 gear during today's race. Chase Elliott led 3 laps from the pole. 1 lead change. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been out in front for the last 11, followed by Toyota teammates Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. Kevin Harvick's up to 4th in a Chevrolet. Joey Logano completes the top 5 in a Ford. Another of those Gibbs Toyotas, Carl Edwards, back in 11th place. Jamie?
Well, early on he said his car was great. It was neutral. But moments ago, about a lap ago, he told his new crew chief, Dave Rogers, the engine keeps stalling out. We'll keep our eye on the 19.
But, you know, a lot of times that can be air. The cowl opening up there where the air goes into the engine. A lot of times turbulence around that area will cause the engine to kind of surge a little bit, or the car to surge a little bit. Nothing to worry about right now, I don't think.
Yeah, DW, and this is the first time they've been in these kinds of race conditions. The weather has changed slightly as well, but now he's in the middle of a big pack, and there's no doubt that I believe that it's the air moving around these cars that's definitely causing him to feel that way.
You were riding with Jimmy Johnson, of the drivers that started this race at the tail end in backup cars, from 36th to 8th, 7th for Johnson in the 48. Former Daytona 500 pole sitter Austin Dillon has lost the draft. He's back in 39th position, Vince.
Yeah, does not like his race car at all. You hope at the start it's somewhere close, but Austin says it is way too tight, and he has lost that, not just the main pack, but also that second group, which is straggling and starting to string out a little bit, and you can see the big gap between Austin Dillon and the rest of the field.
Yeah, Vince, these cars are restricted, as everybody knows, and they don't have a lot of horsepower, and they don't have very much throttle response at all. So if you got to get out of that throttle very much, the first thing you know, they're driving off and leaving you. And if your car's not handling, you got to get out of the gas. Next thing you know, you'll get lapped.
Well, we talked about the conditions being different here today with the weather and the big packs, and how handling is going to become an issue. So not totally surprising, but I think it's obviously surprised Austin Dillon. As we see here, maybe a move for the lead.
Down to the inside, and looking for the lead comes your Sprint Cup champion, Kyle Busch. He's about to become the third driver to lead this 500.
Hang on to her, Denny.
Almost got Turbo behind you. He's still digging. All good.
That was Kevin Harvick.
Oh, that was Harvick.
That
Sorry
went way
about
off
that.
track,
Wow.
below the yellow line.
What an incredible save. Do you know how difficult it is? I guarantee he was full lock to the right coming off there, and all that was aerodynamics, just taking the air right off of Kevin Harvick's rear bumper.
Wow. That was
Three
incredible.
wide for second as they battle. We're going to show you what happened to Kevin Harvick. Watch the number 4.
Here we see he's just sucking up to the 18. He's got a good push from the 41. The 88 comes down, takes a little air off the outside of the car. Oh, wow, that is incredible. And then he locks up the left front tire, straightening it up.
Good.
It's a really vulnerable position to be in when you close up on that car in front of you right here.
Out of the 4th turn, one car goes sliding toward the
Chase.
infield wall. It's Chase Elliott.
Oh, no.
Regan Smith spins out in the tri-oval, and when Elliott's car hit that grass, it's like the blade of a shovel hitting the turf. The front splitter just hits it and digs in. We're under the first caution of the day.
Yeah, he was running 8th and doing a pretty nice job of just trying to mind his manners there, I think. Have to see what happened.
Yeah, I was really hoping that car would spin backwards into that grass. We see how this grass just grabs that splitter and rips it off, and that's exactly what happened to Chase Elliott here.
Car owner Rick Hendrick looking on at his rookie pole sitter stalled in the grass in the tri-oval. Take a look at the number 24.
Right in here.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, it's also a tricky place to be. I mean, we're starting to see handling become a big issue. You can see the back of the car just comes up out a little bit. Looks like the 19th of Carl Edwards, when he got up to his left rear, it just started pushing the air on that car, and it just took the air off of his spoiler, and around he came.
It just stepped out, and I think it shows that Jeff and I were talking about this earlier, how hot the 3rd and 4th turn is, because the sun beams down on that end of the speedway. Then we got a little tailwind off of turn 4, and we've seen a number of cars get loose.
Watch this as he gets to the tri-oval grass.
Bam.
And that blade just digs in.
Yep. Just rips the nose right off the car. Here you go. Boom.
Oh. Not sure if there was any damage to the front of Carl Edwards, number 19, as Elliott came right across his bow.
Yeah, I definitely think they made contact, but how much contact is the question. Oh, what a disappointing way to start this race for Chase Elliott. So many high hopes.
Yeah, here's what I believe with this caution coming at lap 20. It's almost a half of a fuel run. And Jeff, Darrell, you guys keep talking about the handling. I think you should come and get 4 tires, but I bet you we'll have a handful that will roll the dice and just go with 2. You need at least 1 full can of fuel.
Well, all week long, all we've been seeing is people do gas and goes, 2 tires. very rarely have we seen 4 tires, but what I'm seeing right now, I mean, Kevin Harvick, now Chase Elliott, we're seeing a lot of cars moving and sliding around, and I guarantee all those drivers right now are screaming about wanting 4 tires.
I want 4 tires.
Yeah, I want 4 tires.
I'm like Earnhardt was, Larry. I'm going to come in and forget. I want 4 tires. I ain't leaving until I get them.
Regan Smith, you saw the number 7 come to pit road. He spun to avoid another car after Chase Elliott spun toward the infield. The whole front end of that Chevrolet just bowed right into the earth.
Mike, just think about a tire as an eraser on a pencil. When it's brand new, it does a really good job. It's got a lot of grip. It'll do a lot of erasing. But as it wears down, less and less.
Wow.
And that's a big impact from inside the car as well.
Because safety vehicles are working right at the entrance to pit road is closed. They'll take another lap of caution before they open up the pits. It's by far the warmest day of the week and with the most sunshine. So not quite the grip that they enjoyed the other night as Chase Elliott, the pole sitter, goes for a big spin. Pit road is open. Matt Yoakum.
Warmest day of speed weeks, and it shows in the handling of all the race cars. Everyone fighting a lack of grip. Jamie Little.
And Joey Logano in. He said handling is a big issue here. He couldn't do anything. A 4-tire stop and chassis adjustment for Logano.
Denny Hamlin wins the race off pit road, picks up 2 positions. We are 22 laps complete, 178 to go in the 500.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Busch Beer. Busch is back. Here's to earning it. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Chase Elliott's car towed to the garage. Everyone else running on the lead lap in Daytona. Greg Biffle has the fastest observed top speed of the race so far. The Sprint LTE Plus network delivers faster download speeds. For limited time, switch to Sprint. Save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Sprint, better for less. Now, everyone has been on pit road, but they did not all come on the lap that the pit road was opened. A couple waited a lap, some waited 2. One of those who came in the second time by was Kevin Harvick.
It's almost like we just need to wait to pit, see how it forms, and I think our car is handling good enough. I mean, that was just a fluke situation, in my opinion, on it getting loose. I think we can drive by most of them after about lap 15.
Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers talking over the strategy. He gave up 3rd place and will restart 29th. Watch the 4.
See, Mike, this is why I like Sunday afternoon racing. Look, we're dealing with things. You go to a night race, track conditions usually aren't much of an issue. You got a Sunday afternoon race here with the hot sunshine. The track is slick. Cars are hard to drive. People spinning out. That's the way it ought to be.
But that's an experienced veteran driver in Kevin Harvick saying that, you know, it was just a fluke deal. He recognized that a car got right up beside him and one was outside of him and it caused that car to get loose. He doesn't necessarily think they need to panic.
I wouldn't panic either now that I have 4 fresh tires on my car. I'd be very happy.
Chase Elliott has been checked and released from the infield care center. We'll hear from the pole sitter in a minute. We're ready to go back to green. We'll complete lap 25. Teammates, Denny Hamlin up front. Kurt Busch in the 2nd spot. Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Johnson and McMurray. A very orderly 2x2 restart.
Yeah, Fox Sports 1 doing the NHRA now. This looks like a drag race. Down the back straightaway they go.
I just got to believe the incidences we've seen that led up to this caution is going to change the scope of this race. We're now looking at a different Daytona 500 and a different pack type racing than what we've seen all week long. And these cars are really going to start struggling with the handling as this race continues on.
These 2 front row cars, though, are irresistible force and immovable object. Hamlin, one of the most aggressive in the garage in the 11, and refused to lose Kurt Busch in the 41. This could get very interesting.
Well, that 41, Kurt Busch, he's run second in the 500 3 times. He wants to win himself one of these babies.
We've seen Dale Earnhardt Jr. always try to find his way to the front. We're going to see how aggressive he wants to be right here to try to get it back.
He's in fourth. Blue and silver car on the outside.
And
of his
look who's
teammate
on
Jimmy
the
Johnson
inside.
in the 48.
Amazing how he's come from the back all the way up there. I shouldn't be surprised. He's a 6-time champion.
But you know, Junior says the races down here the last couple of years have been leader controlled. I think he's going to get to the lead as fast as he can because that's the safest place for him to be.
Yeah, I definitely think he wants to. It's interesting, though, how this inside lane is making some momentum and moving forward.
This is the 7th straight Daytona 500 that Denny Hamlin has led. That is the longest active streak in Sprint Cup racing. Action upper left live. Again, here's a look at what happened to our pollster to the Napa car for Chase Elliott.
And I think part of that, he actually got up towards the one car and pulled the wheel and turned away from it, and then it came around. Jamie?
Well, Jeff, we're hearing a lot about handling of the cars. What happened with you? Was it a handling issue, Chase?
No, I just got in the middle there a couple laps before, and I got loose off 4 and just lost it. I hate it. It's such a fun week, and you hate to end the race before it even got started. So just disappointed for everybody, and we'll just have to look past it, get on for Atlanta. That's the most important thing now. We can't get caught up in what happened today. It's irrelevant now. So we'll try to get it fixed and make some laps, and if not, we'll head to Atlanta. If we can make some laps, we will, and move forward from here.
Thanks, Chase. Mike?
Yep, next Sunday, a track that's always been kind to the Elliots, his father Bill, and now Chase will be competing at Atlanta Motor Speedway next Sunday.
He's always so rational. You know, he just looks at the situation, nothing we can do about it now, and Atlanta's next week, and that's our next target.
Yeah, I love his attitude. You have to know he's disappointed. There's so much hype, so much build up to the Daytona 500, everything going so well, and then for it to all be taken away like that, very disappointing.
Yeah, won the race yesterday, Jeff, and did an amazing job of driving to hold off Joey Logano.
On this restart, the inside lane is taken off. Kurt Busch still leads the outside lane, but they're not moving like that group headed up by Denny Hamlin on the right of your screen.
No, they're not, and I don't know if maybe handling is again starting to play a factor in that inside lane. Is just working a little bit better than the outside, but we know that Kurt Busch is an excellent drafter with a fast race car. We also know right behind him he's got Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's a great pusher.
Yeah, well, here's what happens. When handling is a factor, sometimes you don't know who has the best handling car early on.
Might be Jimmy Johnson, who just jumped to the outside. Now he leads the outside lane from Busch, and here they come.
I thought that was a really interesting move. I don't know if he just got a big push and had a lot of momentum and thought he might be able to clear the 18. He jumped to the outside, but all of a sudden the momentum stopped. Let's see if he can get that energy going again by lining up in that outside lane.
How many backup cars are at the front now? Several.
20, 78, 48.
There's a number of them up there. Where'd they start? Gosh, they started back in the back.
Especially DW, we talk about handling.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about this all week, and since we saw some of these drivers and teams go to backup cars, having a backup car that's not quite as slick, not quite as good in the wind tunnel is sometimes a lot better on the racetrack.
I asked Jimmy Johnson this morning, up talking to the Sunoco folks, who's the hardest car to pass here? He said the Joe Gibbs Toyotas, and in particular, Denny Hamlin.
Well, Denny has been very impressive, not just this week and today, but on restrictor plate racing for a long, long time. And I think now JGR Racing has gotten all the ingredients to make it even tougher to get by him.
Let's check back in Earnhardt's pit. Here's Vince.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. says it's amazing how different the car is handling from when he was up front to where he is now, which is running around the 8th or 9th position. And he says he really feels the wind. Now, it's not near as windy today as it has been on some days, but Jr. says it's affecting the handling of the car, especially a few rows back.
And that was his point earlier there about the turbulence of all the cars out there at one time.
.32 laps complete in the 500. Denny Hamlin leading. Stay right here for a different side of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in a new Nationwide commercial coming up next.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Coming around to complete lap 37, Denny Hamlin. Late model driver from Chesterfield, Virginia, tapped to move up, got into the seat of one of these Joe Gibbs Toyotas, won his first try. It was the Sprint Unlimited here at Daytona. First ever race went to victory lane. Runner up in the Daytona 500 2 years ago. He's your leader with 3 teammates behind him.
That's a comforting sight in your rearview mirror to look back and see your teammates back there.
Yeah, that's definitely the best place to be. Single file. You've got people you can trust that you know you're going to be working with all day long right behind you. I tell you where it gets really tricky right now is having patience. You got to, if you're on that 4th, 5th, 6th row on back and you're side by side, and we've already seen handling becoming an issue, especially for Dale Earnhardt Jr., somebody who's been used to leading all week long and really wants to be up front. He's having to have a lot of patience just riding it out, being behind Kurt Busch. He doesn't have any place that he can really go right now. The lane's not moving. He's just got to take a deep breath, settle in, and be real patient right now.
Amelia's in turbulence right now. So getting a rough ride, not happy being back there. She was much happier out front.
One of the drivers in the top 10 may have an issue. Chris Neville.
Yeah, Greg Biffle saying his car's pretty loose in that lower lane, saying I can't do much down here, so if I could get up in that high lane, I'd like to. He also radioed to the team just a few laps ago, I've got a wheel vibration. His crew chief, Brian Petty, radioed back and said, hey, there's nothing we can do right now. You're just going to have to ride it out.
That's my kind of crew chief right there. You just going to have to ride it out, bro.
Not much they can do for you right now.
Nope.
In the 16, he was one of the drivers that came to pit road and he did get 4 tires on that caution, that last caution.
Matt Yoakum.
And Mike, I spoke with Tony Gibson this morning, Kurt Busch's crew chief, and he expected after about 10 or so laps the outside lane to really organize and develop, and that's the lane you're going to want to be in. But right now, it's just not developing. The other issue that Kurt Busch has been having much of this race is especially down in turn 4. It's slick. He says it's tight, then it's loose. There's a crosswind, is what Rick Corelli is telling him. He said simply it's treacherous down there.
Well, Busch's car was damaged earlier in the week. They elected to repair it rather than go to a backup car. But he's not making any headway with Jimmy Johnson and Jamie McMurray.
And that might explain exactly why that outside lane is not making any headway, because if he's having any kind of issues with handling, if he's having to check up at all, if he's not confident in turning that wheel and you know the car wants to head towards the wall, it's definitely going to hold up that outside lane.
More shake, rattle, and roll from Jamie.
That's right, with the 4 of Kevin Harvick. When he got loose and got out of line, he dropped to the back and he started reporting a vibration after that pit stop. His pit crew has their helmets on. They are ready just in case he needs to bring it down. They're eyeing it right now and hoping it gets better.
Harvick is 25th. Remember, he pitted on the 2nd lap the pits were open during caution. Restarted toward the back.
You know, you never want to leave a wheel loose. I mean, that's a no-no. But if you're going to do it to him, you can do it at the end of the day when it counts. You know, not early in the race when I got to stop and maybe go a lap down.
And the general rule of thumb with the vibration is if it doesn't get any worse, you're usually okay. As soon as it gets worse, you got to come in. You know that that's going to be a loose wheel.
Well, that's what NASCAR said about the lug nut rule. You know, they're not monitoring that anymore. And all these drivers have said, and you know this, if a wheel is loose, you're not going to stay out there very long. So it kind of polices itself.
Let's have a look at today's Toyota top performers. 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas, Hamlin, Busch, and Kenseth 4th. Now Martin Truex Jr.'s team switched to Toyota in the offseason. Furniture Row Racing now running 3rd of a Toyota foursome. Then it's Jimmy Johnson's Chevrolet, 4 Fords in a row. Almirola, Blaney, Biffle, and Logano. Kyle Larson Chevy completes the top 10. Michael Waltrip trying to win his 3rd Daytona 500. He's going to race here and Talladega. Driving for BK Racing in a Toyota. Currently 28th, but watch his number 83 as Trevor Bayne comes alongside. Woo.
I think Michael saw in his mirror, and this is a veteran driver. He's watching his mirrors, his spotter's talking to him. He saw that 6 car coming up, and he wanted to jump up in front of him before he got to the outside of him.
There was just enough room.
43 laps complete. Richard Petty in the 43 won the 500 7 times. Hope you're enjoying Daytona Day. It's beautiful here in Daytona Beach for the race, the warmest day of Speed Week. Now 69 degrees. Winds variable. Right now out of the southwest at 6. Track temp just over 100 degrees. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, Matt Kenseth, Toyotas lead them around. Jimmy Johnson 5th in a Chevrolet. Eric Almirola's Ford is 6th. But one of the Fords, defending 500 champ Joey Logano, has been up to the top, down to the bottom, and all over the place here.
I'm 270 water here. The fact that I'm just tucked up makes it tough, so stay cool.
10-4, are you cool running that lane, or do you want me to try to find you a gap to get up?
The bottom is better than the top for handling.
But the top is where he is right now, and that's allowed 7 cars at the front to break away.
Yeah, he's not giving up a whole lot. We've seen that car really slipping and sliding around, and doesn't look like it's handling very good, but he's not willing to say just how bad the handling is right now on the radio anyway.
But Mike, those are distractions, and when the driver starts focusing on his water temps and things like that, you lose spots. You start thinking, oh, I got to get this thing cooled down. I got to get in another line. I got to move here. I got to move there. That takes your focus away from running up front and being one of the fast cars.
7 cars in front, 4 Toyotas, a Chevy, and 2 Fords, one of which Eric Almirola in 6th. Matt?
Almirola trying to stay close to Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Now they changed 4 tires on that first stop. No changes, but he has developed a vibration on this set of tires. He said it hasn't gotten any worse. He's going to try to just ride it out until the next stop.
We've heard that so much this week about vibration in tires. I know the 20 car went through 3 or 4 sets of tires trying to find a set that they were chasing a vibration. They ended up being in the tires. I've heard others complain about that as well.
Rookie Ryan Blaney on the tail end of that fast freight in front of the field. 7 cars, single file, trying to increase that distance, while Greg Biffle in the 16, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, and Kyle Larson try to play catch up.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney's doing an excellent job. You know, just being able to stay in that front group there is one thing, but we're seeing all these cars slipping and sliding around and having issues with handling, and yet here he is right in that lead group doing an excellent job.
"50 laps complete. We're 1/4 of the way in this year's Daytona 500. Let's take a look at our nationwide Dale Jr. performance report. Vince Welch.
Well, Junior led 15 laps early in this race. He slipped back a little bit now, but it's interesting. When Junior pitted on lap 22, he felt like the pit box was very slippery, didn't feel like it had any grip. So after that pit stop, a crew member sprayed some soft drink on the pavement to give it a stickier feel and more grip, and then they worked it in. We'll see if Junior feels the difference the next time they come through.
You know, the 24-hour race was run here a couple of weeks ago, and they used these pit stalls all night long. They used it for 24 hours. They spilled oil, gas, brake fluid, everything in the world in these pit stalls. That makes them pretty slick when these guys get here to use them.
Yeah, we talk about how the conditions have gotten slicker with handling on the racetrack. Well, that also transfers over onto pit road as well.
The hottest, sunniest day all week.
I like it.
It's allowed a bit of a breakaway here. Biffle and Kurt Busch have caught the front pack. It is now 9 cars long, with Denny Hamlin of Virginia leading them around Daytona.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling.
Trouble, turn 4. Brian Vickers goes for a spin. Everybody takes evasive action and gets by without further incident.
Back on the brake. Back on the brake. Back on the brake. There you go.
The 19 car Carl Edwards, he got damaged. The 6 of Trevor Bayne, he got damaged. Several cars damaged in a chain reaction there.
We knew it was coming. We've seen these cars moving around a lot. Drivers really with their hands full, going from the inside lane, just sliding up to the outside lane. So you knew it was just a matter of time before someone was finally going to lose it.
Yeah, that 14 car with Brian Vickers, he just hadn't seemed comfortable to me in that car the whole time we've been here. It's just been a little bit off for him.
Substituting for Tony Stewart, who was injured in an off-road vehicle crash during the off-season and recuperating. Let's have a look at Brian Vickers in the 14 in black and orange.
Gets a run up on Joey Logano, gets right to his bumper on it. Maybe Joey even had to check up, and when he did that, it just took all the air off of Brian's car and off that rear spoiler, and around it went.
Saw the 19 car right there, Carl Edwards. He hit the wall. I really think you're right. What happened was I think Joey's been having to lift off turn 4 there a little bit because the car wasn't handling good, and he just ran up on him.
2 is still up there. The 38 is half on him. 14 right with him. Still out there.
Right there, you saw the left front tire just clip the apron. You could tell that as he got close to him, the car started having a little bit of an issue, and then you saw it just clip the apron, and around it went.
Here's what Brian Vickers had to say.
Need more speed. Car's handling good. 22 just get the brakes coming out of the corner.
That's what I saw. It looked like the 22. I think the car's that loose. I think Joey Logano in the 22 is loose. Had to get out of the throttle a little bit, and Brian Vickers in the 14 ran up on him.
Now Vickers' car appears to be undamaged.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely fixable. You know, 4 flat-spotted tires, but as far as damage to the aerodynamics, I think he's in good shape.
I think this is the car that's in trouble. Carl Edwards in the 19 hit that outside wall pretty hard with that right front.
And that was after he got a hit from Trevor Bayne. Now watch Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 and Michael Waltrip in the 83 play thread the needle. They'll come in from the top of the screen. Here they come, the 2 blue cars.
They are right here.
Wow.
You always say go where the wreck is. Drive toward it because it won't be there when you get there if you're lucky.
And with Carl Edwards, it looked like he was trying to check up, and Trevor Bayne just couldn't get slowed down enough, got in the back of him, turned him into the outside wall.
They'll clean up the short chute between turn 4 and the tri-oval and open pit road this time. Looks like everybody's coming. Matt?
The rest of the Gibbs fleet, 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Matt Kenseth said they're sliding around so much, 3 wide is going to be tough. Kyle Busch slides to a stop. Their plan is to go for 4 tires. No chassis adjustments. Adjustment on the 11, Vince.
Of Martin Truex is just a little bit too free across the center. They're going to take 4 tires, slight air pressure adjustment. Jamie?
Daryl, you were exactly right about the 22. So slick, it feels like the 4th of July. A big wedge adjustment, air pressure in 3 of the 4 tires, and a 4-tire change for the 22 of Logano.
Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, and Lowe's team gain 4 positions on pit road to put Johnson in the lead. Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. racing through as Brian Vickers spins.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage. And by KFC's new Nashville Hot Chicken. It's spicy, smoky, and crispy.
60 laps, 150 miles complete. Riding along with Greg Biffle under the caution. He has the names of 2,100 KFC restaurant managers on his car.
I know most of those guys.
He's also carrying our Happy Daytona Day sticker on his steering column.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. Jimmy Johnson took 2 tires on that pit stop, gained 4 spots to the lead.
Yeah, all these teams, they're thinking about the end of the race. They're thinking about the next pit stop. So they immediately come off pit road, start to get caught up to the pace car, shut the engine off. The best way to save fuel, despite the engine not running at all.
And there's no question, Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson are going for track position because they've changed 2 tires on both of their trips to pit road. But what's interesting about pitting there at lap 58, if they conserve enough fuel, I know it's hard to believe, it's a 2-stop race from here to the end.
Like every race, people talk about fuel mileage race. Oh, that's a fuel. Every race is a fuel mileage race.
From the drop of the green flag.
Amen.
There you see 2 tires, both trips to pit road, lap 22 and lap 58.
All right, we listened in on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team.
Yeah, we're tight off of the corner, but we're pretty loose in. Just no downforce, no grip. I can't really get to do what I want to do. This track's incredible how much slicker it is this time.
A common complaint under this bright, sunny, warm day, warmest of the week. Jimmy Johnson, Chevrolet, Denny Hamlin's Toyota, number 11. Bring them back to the green.
You see that 11 get right down on the door. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson just trying to get a little side draft there. Needs some help. Here comes Martin Truex in the 78.
Middle of turn 2, stay low. Outside, they're talking about debris in the middle of turn 2, so stay on the bottom. Outside, you guys are alone.
You stay on his door and then you swing out. And you stay on his door and you swing out, trying to break that side draft.
You were hearing Earl Barbin, Jimmy Spotter up on the roof, high above us.
Yeah, Earl's a very experienced, great spotter, gives a lot of information, and you can hear him. I mean, Jimmy's driving the car, but he's almost doing some of the driving for him as well.
Here come the Toyotas in the outside lane, led by Hamlin. Martin Truex right with him, dead even at the line.
Right now, Jimmy Johnson's the lone Chevy up there among a lot of cars until you go all the way back there in row 4 to Kyle Larson, the 42.
How low the back of these cars get in the turn. They really are low as they go through all that downforce and banking. Then they raise up a little bit down the straightaway, and that's why they move around like they just snake around on the straightaway.
You see Kyle Busch get right up on the rear bumper of Jimmy Johnson. We're going to find out how good those 2 tires are and how well that 48 Lowe's Chevrolet is handling with Jimmy Johnson when Kyle Busch gets up on his bumper that close.
I tell you, Jimmy Johnson is one of the best at holding on a car that's really free. Probably some guys couldn't drive that car as free as he does. He and Chad just seem to have something worked out there, makes it fast.
And that's what I love about the conditions and how they've changed, because now what we're going to see are the cars that handle well, the cars that are fast, the drivers that know how to be able to move these cars around, let them have their way, and still be able to keep them going straight.
Danica Patrick is the one in the middle. It's 2x2 in front of her. Casey Kane alongside in the 5. Jamie McMurray in the 1. She's trying to make that center lane work.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of bump drafting. We saw just a little bit right there. Joey Logano in the 22, and they give Danica a push forward right there in the 10. It helped a little bit.
And you heard from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s radio conversation. His car's really loose getting into the corner, so that's a very vulnerable position to have Danica in. As you got to turn 3, Joey got on her rear bumper, and that's a place that can really turn that car sideways. Plus, we saw the hood flap come up, and that's the kind of turbulent air we're seeing when you're right behind somebody.
Air pressure.
Earnhardt pulls alongside of Patrick. Matt?
Her expectations were really to get back to how she was running in 2014, that competitive level week in, week out. And she is simply there at the moment. Now, the previous run, she said her biggest complaint was stability in the back of the car. She felt like that was more due to the wind. They made a track bar adjustment. We'll see if that helps.
This is one of her best racetracks. She's had some great runs here, set on the pole. This is one of her best tracks. Finished 8th here.
Neither of the front row restarters can gain an advantage. Johnson, Hamlin, Chevy, Toyota, they're still dead even at the front.
Not real happy about this. This looks a little treacherous to me right now.
You know, we talk about somebody, and there he goes. That's just the guy I was going to talk about, Brad Keselowski. We haven't heard a lot about him in this Daytona 500 so far, but I guarantee you he's going to find a way to the front. He's an aggressive driver. He likes to make big moves. He's got a fast race car. We saw he almost went to the outside coming through the tri-oval, and then as we got down into turn 1, they went to block that, and he went right through the middle.
currently 12th, 3 wide with Patrick on the inside and McMurray on the outside.
Boy, those cars are really dancing off turn 4. You can see they're pushing and getting loose. Turn 4 is a handful right now.
How about Ryan Blaney? He will run the entire season in that number 21 for the Wood brothers as a satellite team to Team Penske. 5 drivers have gone to victory lane in the 500 that this rookie wheels today.
Hard to call him a rookie right now. The way he's been driving this week, he's doing a fantastic job.
It's so reminiscent of Trevor Bayne when he drove that car down here as a rookie. But that Jeremy Bullins, he's a great crew chief. He and Blaney, they got a nice relationship. That's going to be a tough car for Chase to deal with all year long.
Absolutely.
Chase Elliott has returned to the track. Now there is Leonard Wood, Hall of Fame mechanic. He is our sport's Thomas Edison. You just can't believe what Leonard Wood can do with a welding stick and a grinder and a saw and some spare pieces of sheet metal. In fact, they pitted Jim Clark when he won the Indy 500. Leonard made a 1/4 scale replica of that car that runs, and he made it just from pieces of scrap around the shop.
I saw pictures of the car. Absolutely beautiful, incredible, and that's just his hobby.
Yes. His specialty is reducing driveline drag in these cars, and every time we've come down here for many, many years, that 21 has been one of the fastest.
Tuning, he was really good on it with it when we had the carburetor and cylinder heads. He did a lot of cylinder head work. Really good on tuning.
Now, you know, the prior run to this, we saw Denny Hamlin on the inside lane, and he had help from teammates and fellow Toyota drivers, but that inside lane really moved forward. Now we're not seeing that. I don't know if that's just showing the strength of Denny Hamlin on that outside lane.
68 of 200 laps complete. Johnson's 48, Hamlin's 11. Neither can gain advantage.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Get to your Chevy dealer. Take home the 2016 Silverado 1500 from the fastest growing pickup brand, Chevrolet. Find new roads. 72 laps complete and a Chevrolet in front. That is Jimmy Johnson. He broke the log jam at the front that saw Denny Hamlin shuffled back right now to 6th place. Now Stewart Haas Racing has had Kurt Busch up there in the top 10. Kevin Harvick currently 13th. Danica Patrick 20th. And recovering from that spin is Brian Vickers back in the field. Tony Stewart joins us once again. Has been watching his team intently. There is their running order.
Hey, Tony, great to have you on. What are you seeing so far in this Daytona 500 from home?
Tony, what's Vickers been saying about the car? He's looked a little uncomfortable in that car to me.
Hey, Tony, obviously you know all the things that are going on with your team out there. How active are you in being involved with the decision making, not only today but leading up to the race? We know you're a racer and it's hard for you to get away from it, but have you been very active with everything going on with the team?
Well, one of your drivers, Kurt Busch, currently fighting for third. Tony, how about a quick word on how your recovery is progressing and any idea when we'll see you back at the track and back in a car? Well, Smoke, thanks for joining us. We missed you, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, we look forward to that, Tony. Thank you.
Boy, dude, that Kyle Busch, I mean, he's won. And listen, I know why he wanted that lead. M&M's got this big thing going on the 75th lap, and he was trying everything he could to get that car out front on that 75th lap. Came up a little short, but he got it now.
Sprint Cup champion Kyle Busch to the front, his teammate Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin. Look at Jimmy Johnson, the 48, dropped like a rock.
Oh, yeah, once he got shook out of the draft, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he was trying to side draft that inside lane, just trying to slow down their momentum, find a hole to get back in there. And then here came Ryan Blaney with a lot of momentum and went to the outside, took him 3 wide, and now he's going to go really far back and fight his way to the front.
I felt like Kyle had something for him because Jimmy had to block Kyle Busch in the 18, had to block him real good there a couple of times to keep him behind him. Then Kyle Busch was able to drop under him and take the lead.
And don't forget, he took 2 tires on that last stop. So when you're out front, the car is driving really good. You have nothing to worry about. But when you get back in this 3 wide like this, oh boy, those 2 tires are not going to be real friendly.
Your racers are wearing out fast.
And the fearsome Toyota foursome are back in command. Here's Casey Mears on the Geico Super Cycle. Geico's unveiling 2 new custom bikes to honor 75 years of Daytona Bike Week. Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. Mears currently 16th in the Daytona 500, 82 laps complete, 118 to go. Kyle Busch and teammates Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin and their new best friend Martin Truex, who's also in a Toyota, have the front 4 spots. Then it's 5 Chevrolets and Ryan Blaney, the only Ford in the top 10 right now.
Boy, I really like that 78 car of Martin Truex. He's been right there, really not making a lot of noise, just hanging with his buddies. Cole Pern has got him tuned up pretty good today. Little backup car.
There's a look at all of those Chevrolets, including Ty Dillon. And remember, Austin Dillon lost the draft, was way back behind everybody. He's right back up with a pack in 11th place there. Vince?
You guys were talking about that 78 of Martin Truex Jr. Of course, had a little bit of a free through the center issue earlier, but Cole Pern has fixed him up. It's been an eventful speed weeks for the 78. They had the roof flap issue in qualifying, didn't make a qualifying attempt, then crashed in the duel, had to go to the backup, start at the rear today, but they've made their way to the front. And Pern told me beforehand, he said, we've got good speed. If we can get to the front without any problems, we're going to be a player, and they have been so far.
Those front 11 cars have a little bit of a breakaway to Danica Patrick, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Johnson back there 10th, 11th, and 12th. Jamie?
Well, the 2012 Sprint Cup Series champion not running as well as we thought he would. He told us early in this week, this is the best race car he's ever had down here. Ford brought those new noses. They were really happy with what they saw when they were racing at night. The speed was great. But so far today, back in traffic, he said, okay, I got to my teammate on the 21. I'm not fast enough to stay with him. He's mid-pack now, Chris.
Well, Jamie, Kyle Larson having a good day today, but he has slid back in the last couple laps. And Jeff was talking about patience earlier. That's exactly what Kyle needs when it comes to speedway racing. He crashed out of the Daytona 500 the last 2 years, and he says he just wants to race hard. Staying in line is absolutely painful out there. The team has reminded him multiple times today, We just need to survive.
Jeff, take us back through this pass for the lead. Let's put Kyle Busch out front.
Yeah, we see Jimmy Johnson's leading the field. Now he chooses to not go down to the yellow line to the bottom. We saw Denny Hamlin when he was out front. He just stuck right on that yellow line. So Kyle Busch took full advantage of this. He got a run. It's a great move. You just go to the bottom, make the shorter run. Jimmy moves down to block it, but just couldn't quite make it happen. Kyle Busch takes his teammate Matt Kenseth to the front. And Denny Hamlin.
And Martin Truex. and.
Well, and I tell you, such a huge moment there, because now Jimmy Johnson is all the way back in the middle of this field, 13th.
Kyle Busch, the defending Sprint Cup champion, who did not compete in the 500 last year, is your leader. 90 laps complete in the 500. Here are your Ford performance track facts. Ford has won 4 of the last 7 Daytona 500s, 2011 and 12. The only time they have won it back-to-back. Joey Logano, defending champion, trying to be the 4th driver ever to win back-to-back 500s, following Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough, and Sterling Marlin. Dave Blaney is the highest running, Ryan Blaney, Dave Blaney's son, Lou Blaney's grandson. He is in 8th place. He is the highest running Ford in the race.
Oh, trouble. Turn 2 down here, guys. Turn 1 and 2. Big trouble.
2 cars hard into the wall. Chris Buescher, one of those 4 rookies, is all tied up with Matt DiBenedetto.
I'm not so sure something didn't happen to one of those cars, because that when I looked up, it was headed straight to the wall, as if something happened, maybe a right front tire, maybe.
Certainly a lot of damage on these 2 vehicles.
Really hard hit, Jeff. I was looking right at it, and it looked like, well, take a look at it.
Both competing in their first Daytona 500. That was DiBenedetto first into the outside wall.
Well, he got a double whammy.
Buescher.
Anytime you see the rear tires lift up off of a car as it makes impact, you know that's a huge hit.
What I don't like about that is that Buescher hit the wall head on, and then he got hit by DiBenedetto here in the driver's, or in the right side, trying to get a double whammy here.
Can't quite grasp what turned both of those cars.
No.
They weren't really right together when they came into frame and headed towards the wall.
This happens 8 laps shy of halfway.
I didn't see enough of it to be sure what happened, but one of the cars just shot up the hill.
I gotta believe that there was contact made earlier between those 2 cars that got them out of shape enough to where both of them.
Yeah,
we saw the 93 head towards the wall first, and then the 34 made that head-on shot straight into the wall.
Both drivers moving around still in the car. Here comes DiBenedetto after a very hard hit.
Well, you can tell that hurt.
And he's going to walk away. Good news. And here's Chris Buescher, the defending NASCAR Xfinity Series champ. After gathering himself, he climbs out. Pit road is open. Matt
Kenseth, he'll hit first. Now his car was much freer through turns 3 and 4. Upper left, Kyle Busch. They're going by football terminology to keep their game plans a secret. And also the 11, he was loose in, Vince.
Martin Truex Jr. still needs some help through the center. A little free, right side tires only. Jamie?
Casey Kane said his entry is good, just getting a little bit tight. He's been moving his way forward. They're taking 4 tires once again and a chassis adjustment to help that handling a bit more.
5 drivers did not stop. They had all made late pit stops under the last caution. And I believe that'll put David Reagan to the front. 3rd caution of the day for a 2-car crash down in turn number 1.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Hope you're enjoying Daytona Day here on Fox. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Chris Myers watching along with you in a quick recap. If you haven't been with us for the first half of the race, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 passing teammate, the rookie pole sitter Chase Elliott for the lead. Junior's led twice in this race on the lap 18. See Kevin Harvick. This is turn 4. Call it chaos corner because he makes a nice save, but then Chase Elliott spins in that same area. Carl Edwards involved there, and Chase Elliott knocked out for a while. He was okay, hoping to get back into the race to finish up. Ryan Vickers, turn 4, involved Carl Edwards, who was on the back end, just missing that other one. Slightly involved here with Trevor Bayne. And then moments ago, a couple of first-timers in the Daytona 500, Chris Buescher and Matt DiBenedetto involved. Drivers okay, but that brought out the third caution. 95 of 200 laps for the Daytona 500 with Denny Hamlin leading Martin Truex Jr. And we all wish you a happy Daytona Day. And stay tuned for a lot more. The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Cialis.
Getting ready to go back to green. First, let's have a look at the Busch race summary. 96 laps complete. Denny Hamlin's Toyota is the first of 36 cars on the lead lap. He is one of 11 leaders, 12 lead changes. Pole sitter Chase Elliott was the first of 3 cautions when he crashed at lap 20 and is now back in the race 40 laps down. Brian Vickers spun to bring out the second caution, and Matt DiBenedetto crashed along with Chris Buescher to bring out the caution we are just finishing up right now. Before we go back to green, let's have a look at our nationwide Dale Jr. performance update with Vince.
Well, it's been a pretty solid day for Dale Jr. so far. They led 15 laps early, but lately, since he slipped back in the pack, just hasn't had the car that he would like. Says he doesn't have the grip that he wants. And they've been on the splitter a little bit after some recent adjustments. Crew Chief Greg Ives has made some significant chassis adjustments to this Chevrolet the last 2 times they've been in, trying to get Jr. what he wants to go to the front.
Dale Jr. is one of 4 drivers who've led more than 10 laps so far. 15 for Earnhardt, 18 Jimmy Johnson, 19 for Kyle Busch, and 37 laps led for your current leader Denny Hamlin.
Well, I think that's really interesting that Junior's saying that to make the moves that he makes on these restrictor plate tracks and watching the mirrors and blocking those lanes, you got to have a good handling race car.
Let's get a little Advance Auto Parts pit performance.
I want to do a comparison between Denny Hamlin's 11 car the last time to pit road as well as Kyle Busch in the 18. I want you to look right here at the total time. Now the difference was the 11 car is not waiting on fuel. Kyle Busch and actually Matt Kenseth in the 20, they waited till they were full of fuel. I think one reason the 11 did not wait, it does not put them in a window to make it one more stop. They're opted to win the battle off pit road.
Great strategy for now. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, we saw them play some real fuel mileage strategy in the Unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
And what do we call them? Wheels?
Yeah,
Mike Wheeler.
Yes.
We've already seen he's a sharp crew chief and likes to take some chances.
I like it.
Coming to halfway in 2.5 more laps, only 3 cautions so far. The record in a 500 was 2011, 16 yellow flags. Fortunately, we won't be anywhere near that today. "36 drivers on the lead lap. Carl Edwards is 1 lap back, and NASCAR is still clearing a bit of the track. So they have added 1 lap before we go green. To celebrate the culmination of the Daytona Rising project, the Toyota Camry XSE cut the ribbon on pit road as it led the field off the pit road and onto the pace laps. Oh, I don't know. You get a piece of that stuck on your grill,
yeah.
You're going to have to get up behind somebody to get that off. Now the light is out again atop the safety car. Signal to the drivers. They hope to go green this time. There's at least one more safety truck working out of the tri-oval down toward turn 1, and there's more repair to Carl Edwards' car. John Cena drove the pace car today for the opening lap, and he will star in the new Fox series American Grit, premiering Thursday, April 14th on Fox. Meeting up with Rick Hendrick and other celebrities on pit road.
Rick Hendrick, a big Barrett Jackson fan. I think John Cena was out there at Barrett Jackson this year, and so they maybe met before, and I'm sure he really enjoyed sharing some car interest there on pit road.
That's the big collector car auction. I think Rick brought several cars out there to sell and went home with a couple of trailer loads.
I was noticing the mirror. You know, we talked about mirrors. A lot of guys got a little bitty small mirror over in that left corner over there to see down the left side of the car. But look how big Junior's is. No wonder he can make some good moves. He's getting a pretty good view of the left rear there. Yeah,
you want a view of everything if you can possibly get it. NASCAR doesn't allow really side view mirrors that stick out beyond the body. So that's what we've seen some drivers really create to get that best view out the left side.
That's the biggest one I think I've seen. Most of them are small.
Let's set the restart for you. Denny Hamlin has elected the outside lane. Martin Truex Jr. the inside, then Kenseth and Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch and Casey Kane, Paul Menard, Ryan Blaney, Austin Dillon, Jimmy Johnson are the top 10. We're back under green. Matt DiBenedetto released from the care center as the field heads off to turn 1. Now there was discussion on the caution laps as always as to whether Denny Hamlin should take the inside or the outside for the restart.
Trying to let the bottom line maybe drag back to let the first two that are outside clear the bottom and get in. Sure. As long as I'm fine with moving to the top, then we can do that. I do not have a better idea. I think that's smart.
He moved to the top, and they did.
He needed to be sold on it a little bit there, though, I'll be honest.
I didn't feel any enthusiasm about that, but he did do it.
Well, and I think it takes a lot of teamwork here. And you look at the 78, maybe just lag back a tiny bit, but also Matt Kenseth got a great start and push to Denny Hamlin's rear bumper to get both of those cars out front. So that worked out even better than they anticipated.
Yeah, a lot of times you make a plan like that and it doesn't quite come to fruition, but that one did.
I still just love his apprehension.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't have a better plan.
Now we mentioned Matt DiBenedetto had been treated or checked and released. Chris Neville caught up with him.
Yeah, Matt DiBenedetto just coming out of the infield care center. Matt, first of all, it looked like you were a little slow getting out of the car. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just knocked the wind out of me there, but no, we're fine. I just hate it for my guys. They worked so hard to get here. I'm glad I made the Daytona 500, but once the fuel run started going farther and farther, we were getting loose. Everybody was sliding around a lot. Handling came into play, and I have no excuse. I just went in there with a head of steam, got sideways, and crashed. So my fault. Nobody to blame but myself. But got to thank Dustless Blasting for being on the car, Toyota, Cosmo Motors, Dr. Pepper, everybody at our wonderful team that supports me, and we will. We're going to have a good year. We'll go get them at Atlanta.
Glad to see you're okay. Thanks, Matt.
At the front, Hamlin's inside line now has Matt Kenseth, Martin Truex, teammates all aligned, Kyle Busch. There's those 4 Toyotas right in a row again.
You may or may not notice this, folks at home, but intensity, we're halfway. Things really start to escalate from here on to the end. It gets a little bit more aggressive, a little less give, and a whole lot more take.
Yeah, we're only halfway through this race. We're 3 wide. I love seeing what we're seeing right now. And what we are seeing, in my opinion, is drivers that were further in the back or mid-pack having difficulties get to the front. They're going to use this opportunity. Fresh tires, the ability to get 3 wide in this big pack and maybe take this big surge and get up there and stay there.
Look at 6th place Ryan Blaney in that 21. He has mixed it up at the front all day. His car owner, Glenn Wood, age 91 this year, and Glenn is here for his 70th consecutive Daytona Speed Weeks. First as a driver, then as an owner. He's been to victory lane 5 times. How about today?
It's a pretty good spot. That's all I can say. Running 6.
So side drafting from the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. there as he goes up to the quarter panel of Casey Kane and uses that draft to just pull him ahead.
Riding with Dale Jr. just ahead, Austin Dillon had fallen to the back of the pack early, but boy, has he regrouped, Vince. He's up to 6th.
Well, crew chief Slegger Labbe has fixed up that 3 car. They have certainly gotten better after that first run where they were extremely tight. Now, Austin says it's a tick loose, actually off, but he really likes the way it's handling at this point. As you see, he's run it up to 7th. It's his 4th Daytona 500. He was the pole winner in 2014, finished 9th that year, looking to improve on that this time around.
His grandfather, Richard Childress, went to victory lane as car owner for Dale Earnhardt here in 1998.
A little bit loose. Getting in the corner is not too bad unless somebody is on your tail, and then it can really loosen you up even more.
Right next to that 3 car is Casey Kane in the 5. Jamie.
He is ready to race. I talked to his crew chief, Keith Rodden, this morning. They're coming off their first winless streak together since 2010. He said a win would be huge for them. Yesterday, Casey Kane ran in the Xfinity race, had a great run. It gave him confidence. And after practice yesterday, they were also confident their car was going to be better. And so far today, it is.
Hey, you're right, Jamie. He's been right up in the thrash of this whole thing pretty much from the beginning, and not in too bad a shape right now, running 8th.
Unscheduled stop for Casey Mears on the right side of your screen. He will likely lose a lap as he gets back up to speed, and the field comes around at over 190 miles an hour.
What we've seen when those JGR, those Gibbs Toyotas get together, it's just really difficult for that outside lane to get formed. We see some out there like Greg Biffle trying to make it happen, trying to build something, but when you have 4 cars committed to one another and not trying to really pass one another, they seem to be pretty content, but I can promise you the rest of them are not, and they're all struggling and trying their best to get up there.
And I think what we're seeing is great teamwork. We saw that on that last restart. Great teamwork. Taking care of your partners, taking care of your teammates, and that's really paying off for these guys right now at this point.
Chris Buescher released from the care center. That is good news. Casey Mears' problem was a loose wheel. That's why he pitted early. He's out there 1 lap down, as is Carl Edwards. 35 cars on the lead lap. Denny Hamlin the leader. 93 laps to go in our Fox NASCAR mid-race report. Coming right up.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And Toyota's with the top 4 spots with just under 90 laps to go. Time for the Daytona 500, just past mid-race report. The leader, by the way, at the midpoint of the Daytona 500 has not won this race since 1992. Hamlin was that guy. Remember last year passed on the final lead change and didn't win, but he's led the most laps with 50. Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr. have also led 2 different times so far. And an early wreck with pole sitter Chase Elliott 40 laps down. Let's check in with Jeff Gordon. Jeff, who you like in the second half?
Well, Chris, we've certainly seen a really unique Daytona 500. Now the sun's out, track temperature is high. We're seeing a lot of cars having handling issues. One of those cars, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who really was strong at the beginning of this race, started to have some handling issues. Now they've tuned on it. Now we've seen him go from the back or mid-pack. He's starting to make his way back to the front. Don't count him out.
And Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, the 48 car, started at the rear of the field after going to a backup car. They worked their way to the front. The way they kept that track position is they did not change left side tires until this last trip to pit road. 2 more trips, they may be right side only the last 2 stops.
Kyle Busch wasn't even in this race last year. He watched it from the hospital. He may very well be watching it from the catbird seat today.
DW, he may be watching his teammate, though, Matt Kenseth, go to victory lane for the 3rd time in the 500. Started at the back. He's up near the front. The only hiccup they've had all day, a little bit of static in the radio. He's just cruising right now.
Joe Gibbs Racing got their very first Sprint Cup win here in 1993. Dale Jarrett passed Dale Earnhardt on the last lap to win the 500. No one here is more motivated than Denny Hamlin. He started the week with a win. He started his career here with a win. He's not won the 500. Could today be the day?
And Mike Kurtbusch, who missed the Daytona 500 last year, he's finished second in this race 3 times, trying to get his first ever Daytona 500 win. He's hung around in the top 10. And remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr. told us on the pre-race show, he said, I want to be out in front with 50 laps to go so I can control the race. A lot of race left. That's your mid-race report here on Fox.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of 4 active drivers with 2 Daytona 500 victories. The Sprint LTE Plus network delivers faster download speeds for a limited time. Switch to Sprint, save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Sprint, better for less. Greg Biffle running in 10th place, slowed at the end of the back straightaway. Got himself out of traffic and now comes to pit road. Chris Neville.
Well, Mike, just heard Greg Biffle on the radio said, I've got a right rear that cut down. You can see a lot of damage to the back right corner of that car. And really a tough break for him. He's had a great day going. Said the balance of that car has been pretty strong all day. He's been running pretty much in the top 10.
Yeah, the old Colonel lost his little...
And debris is caused the caution here at lap 119. Fourth caution flag of the day.
Not surprised. You can see just tire debris flying everywhere there.
Takes a lot of talent to keep that car going at that speed in a straight line. Certainly a lot of damage as you see the carcass of the tire come apart and start tearing up that quarter panel. Going to have a big effect on his race as we move forward. Really hard to for the team to really fix that kind of a damage to the right rear.
That tire comes apart and we are under caution. This will slow the race average speed, which was at 158 miles an hour. Fastest 500 ever, 1980, Buddy Baker, 177.6 miles an hour. We lost Baker to cancer last fall, and boy, do we miss him.
This is going to make the strategy very interesting, guys, because we absolutely are aware if we pit now, we can make it on one more stop. Everyone, with the exception of the 3 Joe Gibbs Toyota drivers and Martin Truex Jr., changed 4 tires on the last stop. Those 4 drivers only took right side. I think those that changed 4 tires, absolutely just 2 right side tires on this stop.
81 laps to go.
One thing's for sure, a lot of decision making by these crew chiefs. They're talking to those drivers right now, trying to come up with a plan. Just like Larry talked about, they're trying to think ahead, not just this stop, but the next stop. And how do they get themselves in the best position, not only have their car in great position, but also have a car that can maybe make some of those big aggressive moves with fresher tires.
You're in that window now. I mean, you're now looking at the end of the race. You're trying to get to halfway and beyond, but now you're looking at the end of the race and what I want to do on that last stop and so forth.
Carl Edwards will get the free pass. He'll get back onto the lead lap. Here's Matt.
Intensity picking up. Now Kendall will stop a little short in his box to help his exit because the 7 will pull in front. Meanwhile, they're also going to do opposite of what they did last time. Left sides on the 18, Vince.
Martin Truex Jr. came in. They put left sides only on that 78.
Boy, there were some near misses all over pit road right there.
Did I hear left sides only on the 78?
I think that's what he said.
Well, didn't they change rights the last time around, Larry?
Matt Kenseth changed just left side too. So remember, those 2 drivers changed rights last time, so they got lefts, which tells me the last stop will be right
sides.
But remember also, you can pack a little more fuel in that thing when it's jacked up on the left side, and that's important right now.
Working the 4th caution flag of the day with 80 laps to go in the Daytona 500 on Fox.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Boy, they're enjoying Daytona Day. A lot of good viewing places here at the Daytona International Speedway. Denny Hamlin is your leader with 78 laps to go. Still cleaning up the mess from Greg Biffle's shredded tire that put us under the 4th caution of the day. Hamlin has led the most laps today by a wide margin, 60 to Kyle Busch's 19. Sprint LTE Plus network, faster download speeds. Switch to Sprint, save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Sprint, better for less. Penalty on Eric Almirola, uncontrolled tire in his pit box. He was the 8th place car. And we'll listen to some audio from Team 78 in 2nd place, Martin Truex Jr.
What the 11th wanted to do, if he's wanting to do the same thing again. That's what we're talking about right now, bud. I think that'll work, don't you? Let the 11 take top. You start on the bottom, then when the 18 clears you, they come down, and we go racing again.
Make it sound so easy.
Yeah,
3
right.
Toyotas at the
No
front of the
kidding.
field.
Yeah, here's what
now,
we're going to do.
They are without their teammate, Matt Kenseth, for this restart. Kenseth was trying to exit his pit and got blocked in as Regan Smith was trying to get into his pit. Here's Chris Neville.
Mike, I checked on that right rear that let go on Greg Biffle's car, and the problem is that right rear tire was actually built for the left rear of that car. And Goodyear is saying more than likely that tire went down because it was on the wrong side of the car.
Oh, my.
Wow. That's a big mistake.
That'll tighten you up for a little while.
Yeah, usually those left side tires are much softer than the right sides. They're not intended for use there.
Wow.
Goodyear and NASCAR designate which tires go on which side of the car.
Big mistake.
It's obvious why.
Yeah. Getting ready to restart with 77 laps to go. Hamlin did elect the outside. He will try to clear Martin Truex and pull down in front of, boy, that didn't take long, pulled right down in front of Truex and Kyle Busch.
That's what you call when you're Jamie McMurray, you were just left hung out to dry.
McMurray's in the number 1, first car in the outside lane.
And what Denny had to be real careful of is one, getting too good of a start where NASCAR starts focusing in on it, but then he has to cross the start-finish line before he can start making his move to that inside lane.
Hey, look who's back in town. Joey Logano in that 22 car. He struggled with that car mid-race, but looks in the early part of the race looks pretty good now. Right up there in top 5.
He's not content being on the inside lane.
Here I come.
He's going to need some help.
He certainly is. He's got it in Jamie McMurray.
Get a push. Need a push. Come on, push.
Now see, he would have really liked for Kyle Larson to have gone with him and continued that momentum. That might have helped him really get all the way up to Denny Hamlin, or at least beside Martin Truex Jr. But Larson decided he wanted to stay in the inside lane.
But you got to like Kyle or Joey Logano in the 22 for jumping out there and giving and trying to make something happen.
Jamie?
He's been eyeing that outside lane for about 20 minutes. He said, I'm going to go up there eventually. When he came in on that last stop, though, they took rights only. His pit crew gained him 7 spots and got him in this position.
Yeah, Jamie, he's been struggling with that car early on, we saw, but now the car looks pretty good. It's up on the outside going forward.
There's the difference inside to outside lines. It's about 2-3 miles an hour right now.
Yeah, it looked like he was getting a big surge and a big push from behind, but doesn't show up in track position because he's having to run faster on that outside lane if he's going to make up ground on that inside lane. That inside lane's a shorter way around the racetrack, so you're going to have to carry 2, 3, 4, obviously maybe even 5 more miles per hour to make that outside lane get to the front.
Yeah, you seem like you can close up getting in, but then you lose it all getting off.
And I question that move. I mean, I love this about the Penske drivers in Brad Keselowski as well as Joey Logano. They're aggressive. They like to make big moves like that, and a lot of times it pays off. But right now, I think that inside lane has really paid off.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led a bunch of laps today, but he is currently smack in the middle, Vince, 16th.
And that's not where they want to be. They want to be out front all day. They want to stay away from those dangerous situations, stay up in the top 2 or 3 rows. But as you said, back in the pack now. And Jr. not happy with the car, said he just doesn't have the front grip that he needs, and he feels like he's all over the splitter. They were going to change just 2 tires on that last stop, but he ran through some debris, so they had to change all 4.
Woo, man. Looks like she's handling and running pretty good right now. That was a great move.
It looked like Matt Kenseth was hoping Dale Jr. take that momentum and push and go to the outside. He knows how much Dale Jr. loves to make that outside lane work, but boy, Jr. went right to the middle.
And Jeff, you know good and well, everybody wants to get to the front right now.
Junior went straight up the middle. Let's take an inside ride with the number 88, sponsored by Nationwide.
Tight, he's on him tight, here comes the 20, on him tight, lined up inside. On him tight here, lined up inside. Nothing in front of that 5 though. The 5's gonna have a good run here, there's nothing in front of him. All right, he went 3 wide outside the 1 up there, no pressure in your mirror here. Anywhere you wanna go here. 20's coming to you there, they got the 1 kinda hung in the middle. 20's in line, the 2's trying to fill the middle. And 2's still trying to fill the middle, comes the 20 on the far outside to watch that yellow. The poke coming to you, pick a lane here, 2 inside, 2 inside, 2 inside, you got help. 2 inside. 2 inside, the 14 doesn't have any help on the bottom. 2 inside. 2 inside still. 14's on the bottom by himself, you got good help with you still. 2 inside, 2 inside. Nothing in front of the 40, he's halfway to him, he's 2 in front of you, 2 inside, 1 inside the 13. 1 inside the 13, middle of the track. 2 inside there now, 2 inside. 2 inside. 2 inside there.
That's TJ Majors, Dale Jr.'s spotter. Does he ever get to take a breath?
Oh my goodness, I tell you, it doesn't just take a great race car or a great race car driver, it takes a great spotter, and TJ Majors is one of the best out there. But think about this, 200 miles per hour, 3 wide, you're looking at what's going on ahead of you. You're looking in your mirror what's going on behind you. And then you've got somebody talking in your ear telling you all these things that are happening at the same time. Wow, is that incredible.
And it's long distance. They're up above us, 2,800 feet away from the middle of the backstretch. That's over half a mile and 3/4 of a mile to the middle of the turns. Dale Jr. and TJ Majors met online playing racing video games against one another.
This is not a first for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's had people drive some of his late models coming from iRacing, his spotter. He loves finding great young talent in all kinds of different places.
Yeah, I've listened to TJ before, and when Dale Jr.'s won this race, and I tell you, there's nobody up there that I've listened to that gives you better information. Spot on, right to the checkered flag.
For more on spotters, here's Matt.
Mike, that was a great shot of the environment that the spotters live in for 500 miles here. It's very difficult. And they utilize those high-power binoculars ranging from $200 to $3,000. So that's looking off the roof without binoculars, and that's what's looking with the binoculars. You can just see how vital those really are. It really helps with the depth perception, but especially they have issues off turn 4 and going into 1. Anything is a huge help.
I just think that, look at this 3 wide in the back of the pack, Darrell. Back there, drivers are starting to get a little bit desperate about track position.
Well, the race is winding down. You know, we're at 131 laps, and everybody has told me that's won this race or run well here. It's a leader-driven race. So if you're going to win this thing, you've got to get in the lead.
The 3 drivers at the front only took left side tires on that pit stop. Crews didn't have to come all the way around the car to service it. They each got that done in less than 6 seconds.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
65 laps to go at Daytona International Speedway, home to the new Toyota Injector. It features Kyle Busch's championship car, interactive simulators, touch screens, and a ride and drive experience for fans to enjoy. Ooh. Let's check in on your Coke family of drivers. There's the Coca-Cola Racing family led by Denny Hamlin. Last year's winner, Joey Logano. While we were away, we had a close eye on Matt Kenseth's number 20. And it looked like something flew out of that car. Take a look on the right side of the number 20, left of your screen.
Yeah, right here he is, and you'll see something come flying out from under it.
Now that'll bounce off the wall, break in 2, right into the path of Clint Boyer and Casey Mears' windshield. Jamie?
And Casey Mears said yes, something major hit his windshield. They thought for a minute they would have to pit, but right now he says it seems to be okay, and that's just the first of many issues. You see it right there, bounce right off the 13, who's been struggling today with some different issues, including a right rear issue that cut the tire, but they think it happened from the car.
Unlike your passenger car, these windshields are made of Lexan, an unbreakable plastic like used in fighter pilot canopies.
I almost think that was like a hose or something. I don't think it was a piece of a rope, some sort of hose under the car.
A part of that ended up way to the inside apron of turn number 4. Pretty much, we hope, out of harm's way as the cars flash by to complete lap 138 and 62 to go.
I think if NASCAR sees it, that's a piece of metal. They may want to, even though it's pretty far off the racing surface, the cars coming to pit road could possibly get down there, but for the most part right now seems to be out of the way. Something I'm seeing is that outside lane's been working really hard to get formed up. We've seen Kevin Harvick really trying to make it work and lead in a group. Then his teammate Kurt Busch moved up. They started to make some ground. Then Joey Logano moved up in front of them. And now we see Kevin Harvick actually take his teammate 3 wide, shuffle him out.
Here comes Ryan Blaney right up the middle. Jamie?
Well, the last round of stops, Jeremy Bullins' crew chief for Ryan Blaney decided to take lefts to see what that would do to the handling of the car. Well, immediately Ryan felt a vibration. They brought it in, tightened the lugs on the left, and changed the right sides. He restarted 30th. He's already back up inside the top 15.
Wow, as they came through the trial, it looked like Brad Keselowski loosened up the 4 of Kevin Harvick.
They're banging off each other. I watched them a lap before. Brad Keselowski gave the 4 car of Kevin Harvick a little shot coming through here. Got him a little loose. They did it again this time by.
As I mentioned earlier, Brad's one of those drivers. We've seen him, I know firsthand, what an aggressive driver he is. We see Jimmy Johnson get loose, getting into turn 3 there. Had to check up. He almost lost control of the car, and that's where you see that big gap.
And that was Johnson just in front of his teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's that bobble on the left of your screen.
I tell you, these cars, after a few laps, the tires start wearing a little bit. They get like that right there. They get to be a handful.
On this lap in 1998, Dale Earnhardt took the lead and never looked back to win the Daytona 500.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR.
56 laps to go. Time for another hashtag 500 Twitter competition. The 500th person to tweet using both the hashtags shown in yellow on your screen wins Dale Jr.'s fire suit from today's 500. Follow at NASCAR on Twitter for more opportunities to win Daytona gear during today's race. Denny Hamlin and his spotter have been talking where he wants his teammates to line up.
Yeah, tell everybody in our line, don't try to jump in front of that top line when they start coming. You're just giving them a draft there. They just commit to staying in one line and don't even screw at the top. There's absolutely no way they can get around us.
That is Hamlin talking to Chris Lambert, his spotter. He'll relay that to the spotters of Martin Truex and Kyle Busch up on the roof.
But I love that. That's great confidence. He knows what he's got. He knows what they can do. Don't pay any attention to those other guys.
Well, yeah, it's easy for him to say. He's out there leading. If those drivers behind him see that lane coming on the outside, it's going to be hard for them not to jump up there.
Did you get a new surround sound for Christmas? Can you get to that volume knob in a hurry? How about a Fox NASCAR Daytona Day? Crank it up. You're riding with last year's winner, Joey Logano, in his Ford, and maybe a developing issue there. Jamie?
Last year's winner, he feels a vibration all of a sudden. They took right sides only on that last stop. The guys on his team said they got the lugs tight. Tab Boyd is his spotter, and he reminded him a lot of guys have been complaining of vibrations today, and Goodyear is saying there may not be an issue, so they're leaving it up to Joey if he wants to pit or not.
What I see in that 22 car, I was telling Jeff, coming off both corners, off 2 and 4, he really swings out like the car's pushing. You see right here, he's going up the hill, losing the cars in front of him. Now he gets back down in line, but when he gets back down here to the corner coming off turn 4, he shoves way out again, like the car's got a serious push. Let's see what we can see here as he gets down in the corner good, but see how the car's riding up the hill just a little bit there? He's turning the wheel, turning the wheel.
Yeah, we've seen just about every lap when he comes off of turn 4, he makes this wide arc off there and seems like he's losing the car. And luckily for him, Austin Dillon has not taken advantage of that and gotten to the inside of him. So either he's going out there to get a little fresh air to the nose of that car to keep it turning, or he's just looking to that outside lane to see what they're up to.
Jeff, I believe that's quite a bit of wheel he's putting in. He's turning that wheel pretty hard left right there. You see again, he moved up off the bottom just a little bit. The car must be a little bit tight.
Let's check with Matt on the leader.
Denny Hamlin trying to get Toyota their first Daytona 500 win. It's been a pretty much incident-free day for him. Now, on the previous set of tires, he had a significant vibration, more so than he's experienced throughout speed weeks. But there wasn't any loose wheel, and I spoke to a Goodyear tire engineer. He said the Daytona and Talladega tracks, the repaves are much smoother, but they're on the harder end of the tire scale as far as compound due to the speeds and loads. So we're hearing a lot more this year about vibrations. It's more of a harmonics type of thing.
50 laps to go in the Daytona 500. 3 Toyotas, then Kyle Larson Chevrolet. Kyle trying to finish in the top 30 for the first time here. Denny Hamlin leads at Daytona with 46 to go. Aerial coverage from Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on track and on the road. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR.
Well, I don't know, Jeff. That front 6, they just are able to pull away from some of those guys back behind them there. That front 6 is pretty steamy right now.
Well, they're listening to Denny, and it's working out for him right now. I'm really surprised. We just see Kevin Harvick finally get down to the inside lane. He's seeing the same thing. It's just not working.
Back in that double file at 12th place is Jimmy Johnson. He's led 18 laps.
You good on the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I get over there, if I can help it. Help that outside lane do something or not, but we just seem to be stuck either way.
10-4. If you're not leading that outside, it doesn't usually go anywhere.
6 cars had broken away. Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, the 3 Toyotas, Kyle Larson Chevrolet, Joey Logano's Ford, and Austin Dillon's Chevy. But now the pack is all one once again.
Cars are slowing down. Looks like we're going to have some pit stops here. It's going to get dicey.
Green flag stops, first time today. Here they come. Matt.
And it was a last-minute call. The 11's going to hit pit road. Meanwhile, the 48 of Johnson is in. Right sides on the 11. The 18 is in as well. Topping him off with fuel, waiting on fuel, Vince.
Martin Truex Jr. pitted from second place, right sides and fuel. Jamie.
Sigh of relief for Joey Logano, who had that vibration. They're going to take 4 tires here. A wedge adjustment, air pressure. The car has gotten a lot better.
2 tires for some, 4 for others. Brad Keselowski takes over the lead. There you see cars exiting pit road. Larry, is this a little early for scheduled stops?
Not really. This gets them in the window, and I think the reason that lead pack wanted to come, they wanted to do it while they were up there up front, single file.
Austin Dillon is in, Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and others. Jimmy Johnson's team over the wall too soon.
That is huge.
Vince.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., they've really taken some big swings with chassis adjustments the last 3 stops on this 88. It's 2 tires, right side and fuel. Chris?
Paul Menard a little bit off pace this last run, slid outside of the top 10. He's saying his car getting tight. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick, a 4-tire stop. They pulled a tear off to help his vision for these last 43 race laps.
Here comes most of the rest of the field, led by Brad Keselowski. Ryan Blaney locking them up, coming in hot. Casey Kane's in as well. Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, and more. Jamie.
41 of Kurt Busch is in. They're going to be waiting to hear Tony Gibson say that he is good to go. The second can's going in. Going to try to pack him full of fuel to Jamie.
Brad Keselowski lit him up. There's the 21, his teammate Ryan Blaney, a 4-tire stop for him, and the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Because he locked him up, they took 4 tires.
Michael Annett assumes the lead of the Daytona 500 from Brian Scott, Regan Smith, Michael McDowell, and Trevor Bayne. Danica Patrick in with 42 laps to go. Casey Mears, Annett, Brian Scott, and Chase Elliott on pit road.
Boy, green flag pit stops usually shakes up the field pretty good. Who can get in, who can get out, and a lot of time lost and a lot of time gained on pit road.
You know, so often we talk about race cars, we talk about drivers here at Daytona and trying to make the draft work in all these different scenarios. It's a team sport. And what happens on pit road, getting to pit road is important for the driver, but what happens in that pit box, crucial to winning the Daytona 500.
Look how that's going to shake out, Jeff.
Patrick was in serving her penalty for the crew being over the wall too soon. We cycle back to Matt Kenseth, Martin Truex, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Kyle Busch. A lot of close calls on pit road. Welcome back to Daytona. 37 laps to go. Again, 3 Toyotas have a stranglehold on this race. Now it's Matt Kenseth, Martin Truex, and Kyle Busch, because Denny Hamlin, who led earlier, took 4 tires to their 2. So he got on track about 8th position and is now trying to march forward.
Different story for the 11 now. Needs to get up on the outside and go somewhere. He got that some help.
He had some help from his teammate there, Carl Edwards and Dale Jr., but looks like Carl is going to choose the inside lane, and here comes Dale Jr. to help.
That's good help right there. Now those two together, you know, they might be able to make a little headway here.
On the pit stops, there's Michael McDowell cutting in. Well, he's in the wrong box. Needs to make a little room there, so Ricky Stenhouse boy, that's parallel parking at its best. That looks like downtown Boston or any city you can name.
Dude, you're in my box.
Joey Logano, maybe a little bit of contact with Carl Edwards coming out. Now Edwards back on the lead lap. Larry?
Well, this was our first set of green flag stops in the Daytona 500, and most notably we had Jimmy Johnson's crew, the 48, and Danica Patrick's, the 10, over the wall too soon. The rule says the crew cannot go over the wall and touch pit road until the car is 1 pit away. We also had Casey Mears and Brian Scott, the 13 and the 44, too fast exiting. That's monitored by loops with their scoring monitor on their race car, and you can only go 59.999. Let's take a look at these green flag pit times here, though, and I think we'll see possibly why Matt Kenseth is up there leaving. Now, this is 2 laps, including the pit stop. And remember, all of these drivers went with just 2 right side tires. Denny Hamlin in 11, he's not on here because Mike Wheeler elected to go with 4.
Now, Jimmy Johnson drops back to 28th place. Danica Patrick to 31st as a result of those penalties.
And then Matt Kenseth, so we've talked about this many times, Mike, reminds us of David Pearson. And Matt Kenseth's been hanging around all day, but when it comes showtime, when it comes time to race for the flag, he always finds a way to get out front like he is right now. Pretty cagey driver.
Matt Kenseth started in a backup car from crash damage earlier in the week. He has come to the front, trying to win the 500 again. Hard crash for Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming off turn number 4, trying to make a bold move in traffic and spinning off track to the inside wall.
We saw Dale Jr. being really aggressive on the outside, making some great moves, trying to get up into the top 5. He goes the outside of the 14 of Brian Vickers here. He drifts up high, but now watch. He's going to come down. He's going to side drive. He wants that left front right on the right rear quarter panel of the 14. But as he gets off the corner, it just comes around on him.
We've seen that several times today. You start to make an abrupt move like that off 4, you spin out.
That looked almost just like Chase Elliott's spin.
Exactly.
His teammate.
Well, you know, we've documented all week long how fast these cars are.
Yep, bumper. He's still going to be there. He doesn't have help, though. 3 is going to get to him, though. You're going to keep slow off the corner here. Here they come. Here comes the 3 at your bumper. And looking in there, the 3. Keep coming, buddies. Hold the brake here. Hold the brake. Straight it out, straight it out, straight it out. Caution will be out here. Hold the brake here.
And the favorite,
Sorry about that, guys.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. appears to be out of the Daytona 500.
And how quickly that happened. It's coming, and then whoop, all around she goes.
And you expect something like that to happen if somebody's right on the rear bumper or maybe on the outside of them, but he was in pretty clear air, so it just shows you how close to the edge these cars and drivers really are.
Here's another look.
Popped out of there in a hurry.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Nobody made contact with him as he shot through there. Big impact into that inside wall. Luckily, safer barrier lessened that impact by a lot. A lot of disappointed Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans. It definitely has had a big impact on my top 10.
Fox had a contest to pick the top 10 in exact order for the Daytona 500 to win $1.5 million. I don't know of anybody whose bracket is not broken.
I was just going for bragging rights, and I'm not even going to win that.
It's been kind of one of those days when the 24 went out early. Now the 88 goes out late. Those are people that are high on our list.
Car owner Rick Hendrick. 2 of his 4 cars have spun off what Chris Economaki once dubbed Calamity Corner here at Daytona.
And not to mention, we saw Jimmy Johnson in the 48 have some issues on pit road. Now this is going to actually help him out a lot by getting the caution, getting him back, caught back up to the field.
It's the 5th caution of the day as Dale Earnhardt Jr. spins off turn 4 to the inside retaining wall. Don't go away, folks. You'll not miss a moment with 29 laps to go. 27 laps to go. Cleaning up from the 5th caution of the day for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crash. Of the 5 caution flags today, 1 was for tire debris. 4 crashes, 3 of them up in Calamity Corner, turn number 4. There it is, bathed in sun all day long. In yesterday's Xfinity race, the driver, the number 4 here, Kevin Harvick, said that's the one problem I got, turn 4. He wasn't the only one. Rookie pole sitter Chase Elliott goes for a spin. Brian Vickers subbing for Tony Stewart brings out the caution, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the big favorites to win the 500, impacts the inside safer barrier and is knocked out of the race. "27 laps to go." Was on this lap in 1971. A.J. Foyt ran out of fuel while leading. Richard Petty went on to get his 3rd Daytona 500 win.
Well, it just shows the greatest drivers. I mean, we've seen some of our best drivers have trouble off of that turn today, so not enough grip, apparently.
Definitely not.
Oh. Chris Neville is with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, and Dale just released from the infield care center. Dale, we were watching the car. It looks like that back end just snapped out from underneath you.
Yeah, it caught me by surprise there. I was trying to side draft the guy beside me, and boy, it pinned the right front. All the downforce there, but we've been working on the balance all day. That was our problem, man. We really underestimated how important handling was going to be today. We've had a rocket all week, but it was in some car runs and during the night races, the cars have handled great. So we gotta do a little more drafting, I think, next time we come back and be ready for the balance and the things that threw at us today. We were starting to move forward, getting aggressive, and yeah, just lost it.
Mike, I don't think Emilio's coming back.
Nope, airframe damage to the number 88. We'll get him at Atlanta. We will be there next weekend.
Next week, the Fox NASCAR season is in full swing as we head to Atlanta. Make sure you catch all the action and excitement of the Sprint Cup Series. Race day coverage begins next Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on FS1, followed by the Fox NASCAR pre-race show at 12:30 Eastern, right here on Fox.
Come join us in Hampton, Georgia. They have a good weather ticket guarantee. Go to AtlantaMotorspeedway.com for details. Tickets start at $39. They'll be right here in front of your TV set, and join us on Fox. 26 to go. Toyota's up front. Matt Kenseth, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch. Brian Vickers in a Chevrolet has been told he has enough fuel to go the distance. Joey Logano in a Ford. Austin Dillon, then Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Kyle Larson, and Kevin Harvick, the top 10. We're back to green.
Yeah, two backup cars and a relief driver in the top 3 right now.
We see Matt Kenseth make that same move that Denny Hamlin was making from the front row. Drop down in front of Martin Truex Jr.
I tell you, that Martin Truex has driven a whale of a race today, Jeff, Mike. Been right there in the top 3 or 4 all day long.
He has really kept it in a great position.
Vince is in Truex's pit.
Well, it's interesting because remember, Martin Truex was on a 1-car team a year ago with Furniture Row Racing. Now with their Toyota alliance and alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, it's like a 5-car team with those 4 cars from JGR. And Martin said on the radio a while back, man, it's a lot of fun up here with some teammates. Clayton Hughes, the spotter for Martin, just told him, you're in position to win the Daytona 500. It's like a 25-lap heat race. Go get it.
And let's not forget, he's had a rough week. He's been through 2 cars already this week.
That's right. I've got a feeling Denny Hamlin is going to be the straw that stirs the drink. He is right smacked in the field in 7th spot, but I think when he starts hustling to get to the front, something big is going to happen.
The only way that's going to happen is when that 22 comes off corner. If he pushes up enough, Denny can get under him. Because we heard Denny say that outside, just hold this bottom. They can't go anywhere on the outside. Let's see what happens.
Here's Matt on the leader.
Mike, after that previous stop when Kenseth got the lead off pit road, Kyle Busch asked his team, how did the 20 do it? Adam Stevens says, I do not believe they got it full of fuel. I came down and double checked with Jason Ratcliffe. I said, did you get it full of fuel? And he just smiled. I said, that close, huh? He said, yes. But this caution, as well as saving, they are good to go now. No worries on the 20.
The only worry would be if we go into NASCAR's new version of overtime, which provides for as many restarts as is required to get a clean run down the backstretch. So we'll see.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to get really hairy here in the next 10, 15 laps.
Pretty good chance their fuel mileage is going to get better here because I don't think we're going to go caution-free to the end here.
No, everybody's ready to make their move, and they'll knock anybody out of their way to do it.
Harvick's number 4 stuck in the middle at 9th place. 3 wide.
When they start going 3 wide this late in the race, that's when everything starts to happen. I mean, you're making desperate moves now.
I don't know if Tony Stewart's been on the radio to Brian Vickers, but if he has, it's paying off. We see Brian Vickers up there on the outside and inside the top 5 here.
Yeah, I thought he may have made a mistake by getting on that outside, but he's been able to hold his own pretty good. Vickers in a 14. He's got a little help there from the 3 car, so they're maintaining anyway.
Yeah, but if Jamie McMurray gets a run, that won't be the outside. Now McMurray comes up to cover.
Oh, boy, look at this.
Keep an eye on Jamie McMurray. He's really aggressive in the closing laps of these races. He gets a lot of energy built up and knows how to keep that momentum going and make some big moves.
He's won the Daytona 500 for Chip Ganassi. That's the number 1. Pulling that outside line along with rookie Ryan Blaney right behind.
I still believe what Denny Hamlin said earlier when he was leading this thing. Stay on the bottom, stay together, and they can't pass us. We'll see if that's true or not.
Yeah, certainly when they're 3 wide like that, when you get 3 wide, it definitely stalls that whole lane out. So as much as that outside lane wants to move up and challenge Matt Kenseth up front, unless they get back in line a little bit better. I don't know if that outside lane is going to be able to get all the way up there.
And what happens, Jeff, is if there's a gap on that inside and you can dive down there and get down low, you'll do it. If right now, I guarantee you, Brian Vickers in the 14, if he could get to the bottom, I bet he would take it.
7 rows of cars, 3 abreast behind the leaders. Boy, the knot is just tightening.
Oh my goodness, my hands are sweating right now just thinking about it, thinking about being inside those cars, being in that position, being in the middle of one of these 3 wide battles, knowing that I want to get clear. If I want to make my way back to the front, I want to get the momentum, push these cars, but at the same time, I know I've already seen Dale Earnhardt Jr. lose control. Really easy for the back to come around on these when you're in the middle of that 3 wide battle like that.
Let's hear from the leader.
I know you don't know what he's thinking, but if you hear any chatter about making moves, make sure you let me know so I pay closer attention. Okay. If they get close, I'm going to let you know.
Boy, that's a veteran driver. Did you hear how calm he was in that car?
Yeah, been there, done this. I kind of know what to do.
19 laps to go. We'll keep you right here from now to the finish. You're watching Fox NASCAR coverage. Matt Kenseth leads. Well, as you saw in our side-by-side coverage, caution is out for the 6th time today. Danica Patrick, Greg Biffle, and now Paul Menard's on pit road overheating. Let's see what happened here with 16 laps to go. You're riding with Biffle.
He gets a big run here on Danica, goes to the inside. Danica wants to squeeze him and try to prevent him from making that pass. He clips her and turns her right into the grass, and unfortunately he turns himself as well into that outside wall.
A lot of movement of these cars down the back straight. We see Danica in the 10 right there. There she goes down on the inside. That car really got light. The wheels come off the ground. Roof lid.
Wow.
Push it back down.
That is turf management at its worst right there.
Spectacular shot, and she did a great job keeping it going straight, not getting into that inside wall there, causing more damage.
Let's show you this in real time.
You know, we talk about getting runs, but we also talk a lot about blocking. And right there, that was just a combination of 2 drivers wanting one bit of real estate, weren't willing to give it up in the closing laps.
Michael McDowell will get the free pass on this caution. A.J. Allmendinger comes to pit road along with Trevor Bayne, Brian Scott, David Reagan, Bobby Labonte, and Eric Almirola. Well, they started things out on a much happier note, starting in the same row of the Daytona 500, ending up like this.
Got nothing out front. Stay high, stay high. One on your bumper here, you're clear all the way down.
You know what I find fascinating about that? We saw this on Thursday in the duel with Jimmy Johnson when he made contact with Jamie McMurray, and there's something in the setup with these cars that's allowing that left front tire to get load on it and turning the cars to the outside. Jimmy was able to keep it out of the outside wall, but it was a very similar effect of what we just saw there with Greg Biffle. As they made contact, it just loaded that left front tire, and he couldn't control it. He's turning left, and the car just turned in the outside wall.
I think it gets on the splitter. I think when the car dips down on the left front, it gets on the splitter. I think that's what happens. Larry, what do you think?
Well, here's what I think. Now, Mike and Darrell, you guys, you've experienced it. Jeff, you're going to experience it for the first time. It's called Larry Mack's Trends of the Race. Now, we're going to go back racing probably with about 12 or 13 laps to go. What I did, I looked at the last 5 Daytona 500s. This probably won't come as a surprise. The average lap that the final caution came out, lap 199. If you look at the last 6 Daytona 500s, we've been in an overtime situation 4 out of those 6.
Never been in an unlimited overtime situation.
New
really
rules.
Curious to see how this plays out.
No longer 3 attempts at green, white, checker. More on that if needed. First down to pit road. Matt.
And Matt Kenseth trying for his third 500. This is going to be your first chance for a 500. If you can pull it off, are you guys going to stick with the Gibbs flying formation on the restart, helping each other move in?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, obviously, the number 1 goal is for the 20 car to win the race today, and the number 2 goal is for a JGR car to win the race, or an affiliate like the 78. So it's been working great today. Those guys have been working together really well all day, and I think that hopefully everyone's telling the truth here, and they're not playing something that we're not aware of. But I think it's going to work out good for us here at the end.
Vince, with Cole Pern, the crew chief for Martin Truex Jr., how comfortable are you with the position you currently have and all those teammates are with you?
Yeah, it's been working good all day. I mean, we had a good plan coming in, and it's just we had good speed in all our cars, so it's enabled us to stay up there. So hopefully we can all get back in the line here and get down the end and make sure we make it all the way back to checker, and we'll call it a good day at this point.
Mike.
Thanks, Vince. Now, Larry, those 3 cars at the front pitted for left sides and got just enough gas that they were gone in 5.8 seconds on their last stop. Is that enough?
What they're banking on is a 200-lap race. They're not banking on any overtime, because I think what they felt, track position is king. Get my driver and my race car out front.
Yeah, Larry, the guy that restarts on the pole here, the number 1 start coming to the green this time, that guy has won the race 4 out of the last 5 times.
14 laps to go. For highlights, Chris Myers.
And Mike, a quick recap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. early, passing Chase Elliott. Jr. led 15 laps, and then Chase Elliott in the middle of your picture, that 24 car, spins out, was 40 laps down in a hurry. Chase was okay, but out of the picture in terms of trying to win the race. Denny Hamlin dominating, passing Martin Truex Jr. on a restart here. With 30 to go, Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to work into the top 5 again, coming off that turn 4. Said he underestimated the handling as the car was hot and slick, hitting the wall, even though he had a fast car. And then moments ago, bringing out the most recent caution, running 31st. Danica Patrick and Greg Biffle getting into it. Everybody okay, and an interesting top 5. You talk about physically and mentally grueling. You've got Truex, whose girlfriend, of course, overcoming cancer. Kyle Busch coming off the leg surgery, and Denny Hamlin coming off knee surgery. Mike?
Looks like that the Gibbs cars are going to start on the inside. The 78 will be on the outside, and then you've got the 18 and the 11 and the 19 all kind of lined up right there together.
Now, this line on the back straightaway is the overtime line. It is brand new for 2016. One thing remains the same. Once the white flag waves on the leader, the next flag ends the race, yellow or checker. But what is new is if we are under caution and are going to get to the scheduled distance under yellow, we will go into overtime. The green flag will wave, and if the leader gets to that overtime line under green, then that will be the final restart. They'll come around, that'll be the race. If the leader doesn't make it to the overtime line, we will restart again, and we'll do it as many times as necessary.
And one thing I see really interesting right here, we see Matt Kenseth chose the outside line, and he wants Joey Logano pushing him, or they're going to try to this same move that we've seen before, where he jumps up there and gets to that inside lane and lines up with his teammates.
The 2016 Toyota XSE pulls down to the pit lane, perhaps for the final time today.
I think Joey Logano's a spoiler in this whole thing. Kenseth's going to drop down in front of Truex in his 78 like that. Now the thing is, 3-car Boston Dillon, can he get up there and help Joey Logano hang on that outside?
12 laps to go to decide the Daytona 500.
Really surprised that Joey Logano didn't jump down to the inside right there. I think he likes that outside. He's going to try to make it work. Maybe he sees this as his only opportunity to get past these Toyotas and win this race.
I think he knows the same things we do, Jeff. I think he knows that you've got to have the lead if you're going to win this race.
Carl Edwards spent almost 60 laps of this race, 1 lap down, and here's his number 19 fighting for the win. Jamie?
Mike, he was wrecked. You could see the sheet metal on his car flapping in the wind right now. He got into the wall, right front damage severe enough that the team had to work on it. Every pit stop for the first half of the race. They finally got it good enough, got everything secure, and now he's up in position, running around his teammates, looking for his first Daytona 500 win.
Most likely when you got a car like that, you can follow very well, but you better not pull out.
Yeah, we talk so much about aerodynamics being so important. And then you see that car all torn up, body is flapping on the right front, and yet he's still up in the top 5. But I agree, DW, if he tries to pull out and take one of those outside lanes to the front, or if he gets out front, I don't think he'll be able to hold it.
I don't either.
Great effort by Carl Edwards. Ricky Stenhouse is 1 second back of the leader in 20th place. That's how close they are.
They are tight.
I tell you, a guy that's got to be just seething in his car right now is Denny Hamlin at 11. He's had the best car. He's got a faster car maybe than his teammates do, but I just don't know how he's going to get it to the front.
And I know how much all these cars up front, his teammates have been working together, but I know how bad Denny Hamlin wants to win this race and has a car capable of winning this race. Can he stay in line?
Well, they're running like they want to right now. You got Kenseth, Truex, Kyle Busch, and Hamlin all lined up with Edwards just right in tow as well. So they're lined up like they want to be. Can they stay that way?
10 laps to go. 1999 on this lap. Jeff Gordon passed Rusty Wallace to win it.
Where'd he pass him at?
I think they that was before that yellow line rule.
They made a rule after that, I think.
He dropped below the yellow line because they had to dodge the lapped car of Ricky Rudd entering turn 1.
This is the point in the race. You get inside 10 laps to go. This now becomes bumper cars at 200 miles per hour. Watch these drivers start pushing and shoving to make something happen.
You just got to kind of anticipate who's that blowing water out there. Couldn't tell us.
That is Regan Smith, who fought his way up into the top 10 in the number 7.
But you know what? With 10 to go, just forget it.
You got to go.
You got enough water to make it to the end.
Absolutely.
Eight laps to go.
Boy, this is hard when you sit in the position those guys on the bottom are setting, and cars on the outside keep driving up there and falling back, driving up and falling back. Man, it's tempted to go up there with them, but like Hamlin said, you just can't take that chance.
Well, right now Hamlin is in the position he really doesn't want to be in. He knows that if they're single file, he'll still have a shot at maybe making a move to try to win this race. But when he has Joey Logano locked on his outside, he has no moves.
Matt Kenseth has led the last 32 laps. He's trying to lead 7.5 more.
Boy, I tell you, they come off that turn 4 and they just barely make it, particularly when they're 3 wide like they are right now. Woo! Takes some skill to hold on that thing at this point.
I just think it's going to be hard for that line of Joey Logano's to really get all the way up there. We see Brian Vickers shoot to the middle. Kind of faked him right there. It looks like he was going to go high. They went up to block him, and he went into the middle. That inside or outside lane is going to lose a little momentum here, but it might regain it back once they get to Joey's bumper.
Toyota won the Sprint Cup last year with Kyle Busch, their first championship. They've never won the Daytona 500. 5 fast ones at the front of this field. Coming to 6 to go.
What's going to be the test when you get the white flag? And if you're Martin Truex or if you're Kyle Busch, anybody is behind Matt Kenseth, are you going to make a move? Are you going to sit there and maybe follow him home?
You have to make a move. It's a Daytona 500. There's no way. I don't care what competitor you are, what teammate you have out there. You want to win this race.
I think I hear a different philosophy how that gives, Pancho.
I know. I hear that too. I hear that too. I don't believe it.
As long as one of our cars wins, that's all they care. What do you want to be the guy that messes up that parade?
In 2002, Sterling Marlin spun Jeff Gordon with this many laps to go. Got the lead by beating Ward Burton back to the caution flag, but got penalized when he got out of the car to pull out a fender. Burton the winner.
Now, I will say this about Martin Truex Jr. in second place. He's in a great position, and he can wait. He can wait a long time before he tries to get that big run on Matt Kenseth. But he's going to have to do it. by the white flag or around the white flag lap. He can't wait any longer than that, and that's only if it stays the way it is.
No, I say if you're going to make a move, you make it off turn 4. If you're going to make a move, you jump to the outside off turn 4 and try to beat him to the line. Don't do it before then or you'll get hung out.
And I'll tell you a little bit about how that move is going to happen if he does make it. What he has to do, he's got to build a gap between Matt Kenseth and himself. He can't do it in the position that he's in right now because you just don't have enough of a draft to pull up and get the momentum.
4 to go. Martin Truex audio.
I'm going to push him till at least off of 4. I got no better idea. If I pull out, the guys behind me ain't going to pull out. You're kind of a sitting duck right there, so we'll see how it works out, but let's just wait to the white flag, and then let's 5 teammates here. We'll figure it out from there.
We're on 4 laps to go when in 1989, Alan Kulwicki had to pit for fuel, and Darrell Waltrip ran the final 53 laps on fumes to win the 500.
Got Kevin Harvick thinking a little bit different plan as he's working outside of Carl Edwards right here. He's got Joey Logano, a great pusher behind him. They need a couple more cars to get up there to their rear bumper. If they do get that, I think they can find their way all the way up there beside Matt Kenseth.
Well, we got 3 to go now, and I tell you, they're not making any headway. They're running out of time, and
well, there's a 4-car breakaway now. Are they getting too big a gap? Will that second group come back to them?
I think they will. We still have 3 to go. See Carl Edwards breaking out now. That inside lane's moving forward again.
Coming to 2 to go. 4 Toyotas out front versus the field.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm watching Hamlin. I just think he might be the one guy that tries to spoil this party. He keeps looking to the outside of Kyle Busch. He might be saying, Kyle, you go, I'll go with you.
There's no way Denny Hamlin's going to be content in 4th place, not without at least putting effort into trying to make something happen.
He has Carl Edwards behind in a car that is damaged. Will someone have to come up to the outside to be of any help to Hamlin?
Yeah, Carl's just hanging on.
Right.
He's got a car. He's just hanging. He's happy to be right where he is. The other guys I'm not so sure about. We're going to find out here pretty quick.
Yeah, we're getting ready to find out right here. They get to this white flag. You watch. If they're going to make a move, it's going to happen just after this white flag.
I think it'll happen off turn 4.
Here goes Hamlin up high. Here comes the 20 of Matt Kenseth.
Can't do it.
No, he just doesn't have enough of a push. He's going to have to back up to that car behind him and get that push, but he's trying.
He wants that 4 car to help him. Here he goes.
Next flag ends the race.
I just don't think he can do it from the outside.
He might be able to get up to 3rd, maybe 2nd. I just don't know if he's going to get all the way up to the lead, but here he comes.
Got to run down the back. It's going to be a drag race off turn 4, but I just don't see him being able to pull it off.
He's getting a big push. He's getting a big push.
He's coming. He's up to 2nd.
Hamlin a 2nd. Up
Watch
high.
the inside. Watch the inside. Martin Truex Jr. 3 wide.
Truex to the bottom. No, don't red.
Kansas saves it. Here they come to the line. This is the finish of the Daytona 500. Side by side, bouncing off each other.
Unbelievable. I think it was Denny Hamlin.
I have it as
Hamlin
Hamlin.
by an inch.
What
Denny
a finish.
Hamlin.
By
Oh
an
my
inch.
goodness.
Wow. I'm telling you.
I've got chills at my spine. That was amazing.
Are you kidding me?
I knew that's where it would have to happen off turn 4, but I didn't know how it was going to happen.
Holy cow, baby. You are the man. Lambert, love you, buddy. Love you.
The closest 500
Ever. Have you ever?
No, I've never. But I'm glad I was here to see it today.
Let's have a look, folks, at this near photo finish. The first Daytona 500 was decided in a photo finish.
Look at that.
Wow.
Inches. About 4 inches separated Denny Hamlin from Martin Truex. Our 5-hour energy, big move of the race, is the big run that Denny Hamlin gets going to turn 3 to win it.
Great move to go to the outside, take that push from Kevin Harvick. Now this is a gutsy move right here.
Whoa,
you got your
baby.
teammate trying to block you. We talked about teammates and alliances and all those things. I tell you what, there was no alliance right there. Denny Hamlin wanted to win the Daytona 500, and what a great finish between he and Martin Truex Jr. Incredible.
He wins his 11th Daytona 500 in car number 11.
And Truex,
pretty good feeling about that.
And Truex had the lead by about 8 inches. Hamlin side drafts off him and takes it back. Matt Kenseth comes across in 14th.
Mario Andretti and Cale Yarborough won in car 11.
Sunoco fueling victories. Denny Hamlin will do a few donuts and go collect the Sunoco checkered flag. Toyota wins their first Daytona 500.
There was 2 things I was hoping for today in my first Daytona 500 as a broadcaster. One was sunshine, and the other was the closest finish in history. Thank you very much, Denny Hamlin.
What a day it's been from the very get-go. This has just been one of those fun days, man.
Hamlin was runner-up to Dale Jr. in 2014. This is his 11th Daytona 500. Mike Wheels gets his first Daytona 500 win as a crew chief. Matt Yoakum is with him.
And Wheels, every kid growing up, they grab a 7/16 wrench when they start out and they dream of coming here and being on a team, let alone being a crew chief of a Daytona 500 winning team. Does the dream all along the way match reality now? Your leg is shaking?
No, I can't believe it. I thought we had a good shot about halfway. Teammates working really good together, and I thought we'd have a team win. I thought we gave it away with the pit road error. You know, Sunday tires on pit road, had to take 4. But, you know, he said 2 to go. We're going to make sure we have a team win. The 4 made a run on the outside, and he blocked him and gave us a heck of a run on the outside. And I can't believe it. I never thought it would happen, but really proud for Toyota and FedEx, and it's amazing.
A nice birthday present for J.D. Gibbs as well. Vince?
So close. 100th of a second. The difference between second and first place at the Daytona 500. What's going through your mind coming down that line?
You know, I did all I thought I could do. I had to lead till like at the start of the Daytona over there on the wall, and it couldn't have been 20 feet from the line. So just really proud of that effort. Really proud of that for Bass Pro Shops and our first race with Toyota. And you know, he just side drafted me, and I probably should have run him up a little bit more, but I thought we were close enough that I could keep that foot or so, but I couldn't. So I lost it at the last second, but. All in all, it's been a rough week. We tore up some cars. We made it to the last lap on every race, and this one we finally made it to the end. So really proud of everybody. Really proud of the teamwork today with the JGR guys. And, you know, for me, that was a big step in getting this relationship kicked off. And, you know, Cole and I, you know, we worked hard all week to make sure we did the right things. And we're going to continue to work hard to make sure those guys understand that we're team players and we're in it for the long haul. So really proud of that, and congrats to Denny. Just got me by a couple feet.
One heck of a run. Martin Truex Jr., second place, Mike.
Barney Vitzer's team gets a fine second place finish. The leader of the most laps has only won the 500 twice in the last 13 years. Denny Hamlin did it today.
Chris Myers back with you in Daytona, on board with Kevin Harvick giving the push. Denny Hamlin was 4th on that final lap until this moment where he surges ahead, eventually passing Matt Kenseth and holding off Martin Truex in the closest finish ever of a Daytona 500. That's how close. 100th of a second. Hamlin the winner, and in victory lane celebrating with him is Jimmy Lake.
And the water and Coke is spraying the confetti. The tears were flowing. Denny, 2 months away, 2 months off your ACL surgery. Your knee is still not 100%. Your first race with your new crew chief. How was today, finally, your day to win the Daytona 500?
This was a team victory. My teammates did an amazing job all day, working together. All the Toyotas. This is a proud moment for everyone at Toyota. FedEx, on my 11th try, getting the Daytona 500. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what happened. I can't even figure out what I did, but it all just came together. I got the push, obviously, from the 4, but this wouldn't be possible if this wasn't Toyota's sticking together all race long. We were able to capture our track position, but I got to thank my sponsors because this is the Daytona 500. I got to thank FedEx. I mean, 11 strong years. It's been amazing. Coca-Cola, Toyota. I mean, this is amazing for Toyota. The Jordan brand, the Greenbrier, Sun Energy One, Kenny O'Bull and those guys, and Sport Clips. I mean, this is so happy to get this victory for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Denny, your family's coming in. I saw the tears start to flow when his daughter and girlfriend came into victory lane. Denny Hamlin is a Daytona 500 winner. Chris?
Yeah, Matt Kenseth led 40 laps today. Matt, what are your thoughts on that last lap?
They don't get much more crushing than that. So, man, I just got to say thanks to Dollar General, DeWalt, Toyota. These Camrys were just unbelievable fast. I thought that was definitely the position I wanted to be in. All three of my teammates are awesome today, and our adopted teammate, Martin. So, I saw Denny hit the run. I really felt like he was going fast enough. He was going to go around me if I didn't block him. And I tried to get in front of him and get some momentum. Couldn't do it. And, they just got me turned sideways there, and I had to get back out of the gas. So, the safe bet would have been stay on the bottom and finish second with the momentum he had, but we're here to try to win a Daytona 500. Went for it and came up short.
Thanks, Matt. Vince?
Kevin Harvick finishes fourth, but just 0.15 of a second away from the first place position. What's going through your mind there as you guys are finally shuffling out and making some moves?
Well, I think I wanted to be the first car in that outside line because I really thought that they'd really start pushing and shoving like they did and finally get some momentum coming towards the end of the race. So Denny saw that momentum, was able to jump up in front of us. But I think as you look at our day, that first big slide, we could have been on the record pretty early in this race. But all in all, just got to thank everybody from Jimmy John's, Busch, Mobil One, Dytek, Outback Chevrolet, Hunt Brothers, Morton Buildings, Bad Boy Buggies, everybody on this Stewart Haas car for everything they do.
Well done. Kevin Harvick, fourth place.
Denny Hamlin, before his big break in racing, out of money. His parents take out a second mortgage on their house, maxed out credit cards, financed a career that winds up in victory lane in Daytona. The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. Hey, congratulations to the Coca-Cola Racing family driver, Denny Hamlin, in the 11 car for his historic Daytona 500 win. He won the first race he ever entered as a kid at a go-kart at age 7, and now at age 35, his first Daytona 500. Let's head upstairs for some final thoughts.
His first and Toyota's first, Chris. They led 158 laps today. Was there anything about Denny Hamlin's last lap move, Jeff, that surprised you?
Didn't surprise me. I knew he was going to, go and try to make that momentum or get that momentum from Kevin Harvick, and he did an excellent job. Great heads-up driving by him. We knew he wouldn't stay in line. No. It was great teamwork. I agree to get there, but then he stepped out, used that momentum, made that gutsy move to the inside and make it 3 wide, came home with his first Daytona 500 victory.
I really liked what Martin Truex and his team, Cole Pernin, he switching manufacturers in the offseason. He was in the hunt all day long, and he's going to be a little bit disappointed, even more disappointed. He said he beat him by a couple of feet. My friend, it was a couple of inches. I'm sorry.
Let's take a look at the final running order. Big day for single car teams with Truex finishing second and Regan Smith for Tommy Baldwin finishing 8th. Both of those single car teams, but big day for Toyota, 1st through 3rd and 5th. Matt Kenseth ended up 14th after leading at the white flag and getting shuffling back in that order.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson there in 16th.
Ryan Blaney, likely rookie of the race.
And Brian Vickers, I mean, he was up there in the hunt till the very end.
Chase Elliott, youngest pole sitter ever for the 500. They got that car back on track, but it was all torn up at lap number 20. Chris?
Thanks, Mike. And guys, Kyle Busch, of course, who led 19 laps, wound up 3rd, part of the Toyota dominance you were talking about. Let's join Matt Yoakum.
The whole JGR fleet trying to become the first to win in a Toyota. And Kyle, walk us through that final lap and a half of how you were going to try to set up to go for the win.
Denny took my idea and did it sooner than I did, and for me to jump up there, I don't know that I would have been able to protect my spot. I think he had too much momentum, so I was kind of stuck with what I had. But overall, great day for our M&M's Camry. Great day for Joe Gibbs Racing. That's really cool to see Joe Gibbs get an opportunity to go back to victory lane here in the Daytona 500. It's been a long time, and it's cool to see Denny get that. So it was a day of Toyota Camrys up front, you know, a day that we all just kind of worked together. We developed a plan. It seemed to work, and you know, wish it was our Toyota Camry in victory lane, but you know, you can't be greedy.
Great day of teamwork for JGR.
Carl Edwards finishes 5th. You know, they talk at Daytona about how aero is so important, and yet the front of your car, how in the world did you finish 5th with that thing?
I don't know. I've got a great group of guys. This Aris Camry was it's a perfect race car, and after all the wind tunnel stuff, it appears that that's good for 5th place. So when we go back and do it for next time, we might take notes there, but just really proud of my guys. Congrats to Denny, everybody at Aris and Toyota, and all of our fans that came out here. We fought back. We went a lap down. My guys never gave up. Dave's just a lot of fun to work with, and I had a really good time, and great day for Toyota, great day for JGR.
Yeah, well done. Carl Edwards, 5th place.
95 laps led by Denny Hamlin 5 different times. The 10th Daytona 500 settled by a last lap pass, but this one the closest in the history of the Great American Race, and we'll have more from Daytona in just a moment.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.